Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We are now hitting into Pradeep's time also, but let us welcome Alfonso Molina. He is one of our permanent guests on this show, and he's a very kind. He was professor of technological strategy at the University of Edinburgh, and he's also the co-creator and scientific director of Fondazione Monde Digitale from Italy. Welcome, Alfonso. I think we couldn't make make up this time because we couldn't track much how to be presented together. But producer is waiting, and after this, we'll be joined by Rahim from Dubai. He is a marine biologist and research aquaculture specialist. We have a whole load of guests lined up from right now. We have almost 9 hours. We have finished, and another uh, uh, 14, 15 hours remain. And after this session that gets over at about 9, 10 o'clock, and then there is a student session. We have organized this interaction with student for 6 hours, and each one of them, the young one, age 8, 10, 12, 14, they have prepared over many days just to think of us coming up with some ideas or the actions that they do to share together. And after 3 o'clock in the night, we'll be joined by our United States counterpart from Mexico, Latin America, and America, and then some very young climate activists from Indonesia, from National Geographic, young explorers. And then we hit into last session at 11:30, where Susan Gardner, the UNEP head of ecosystems, will join. So we have had very, very important guests, and they have made some very good points. But ultimately, I must tell you that entire effort is geared towards involving this youth, young student into the process. Because if they can come forward, if they can adopt sustainable lifestyles, and they can say no to things, fight with the governments, and have the audacity to move forward, what we couldn't do, what we cannot achieve, they can, and we can always support them. So thank you, Pradeep sir. I'll hand it over to you now to make your presentation. Thank you, Eric sir, so much. I hope you remain with us forever, but, but I'm sure that we all have to move on a bit. So Pradeep sir, over to you, please. Yeah, just a second, sir.
Sir is
Yes.
co-host now. Sir, you can unmute yourself, sir. You are a co-host now. Sir, you have to unmute yourself.
So let me first begin by saying thank you to Rajiv and to Dr. J.K. Singh. And also, I was very taken by both the films that we saw, particularly the Georgian one was simply spectacular. And I know I have very little time, so I'm just going to segue straight into my presentation. If you don't mind, I will start to share it right now. And if you can see the presentation in full screen mode, please let me know, and then I'll start.
Yes, sir, we can now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when we talk, I want to talk to you once again about the blue economy and some sectors and some opportunities. And I also want to answer the question that you raised. I didn't get an opportunity to put my two piece bit into it as to how we can balance and how we can get the youth to actually do the things that we were largely unable to do, how to get over the politician build a nexus, and so on and so forth. So all of that falls within the ambit of the blue economy, and perhaps I should start, therefore, with the first question as to which is the word that we are emphasizing. When we talk about the brown economy, that's the economy in which we currently live. It's called the virus economy, because the economy model that we have currently is that of a virus. It settles down upon a host. It then consumes every single resource that the host has. And when the host is dead, then it goes to a fresh host. Unfortunately, we do not have a planet Bravo to which we can go. And therefore, the brown economy is a completely no economy. Then we come to the green economy, in which we emphasize and we prioritize the fact that we need to have sustainable development, and that we cannot afford any further degradation of our ecology or our environment. And finally, we come to the blue economy, in which we are talking about the centrality of the ocean. But in this table, you see brown, green, blue. Is that what we're talking about? Or are we talking about economy, economy, economy? And I rather think that if we are asking the wrong question, then we are likely to get the wrong answer. So then what exactly is the blue economy? And as I just mentioned, the blue economy, first of all, contrary to much of the bureaucracy and very large segments of our government, the blue economy is not a portion of some other type of economy, but it is very nearly the entire economy, and it rests upon three foundational pillars. If you look at these from the bottom upwards, we will move from green to blue. The third one is what I would like to read first, and that is the harvesting of any and all resources of the planet must be in a strictly sustainable manner. Then we come to number 2, which is if we are to survive as a species, any further degradation of the environment or destruction of biodiversity or disturbance of the ecological balance is unaffordable. And largely, these two are generated by the green economy, barring the part in brackets which said especially the ocean environment. And that segues us into point number 1, and that is that the oceans are the font of all life on Earth. And if we despoil the oceans, we generally terminate our chances of having not only a comfortable life, not only a sustainable one, but a life at all. You can see that the world population will reach an estimated 9 billion people by 2050, and impacts on the ocean associated with human activities will increase. However, most of our oceans, all the 4 ocean basins and their constituent seas, are already seriously degraded both physically and geopolitically. And therefore, the state of our seas, in one single word, if you were to ask me, it is that it is precarious. So the wrong question, once again, the wrong question is, how much can the blue ocean contribute to my economy? The correct question is, how blue is my economy? Let us say that you're living in Sonipat, as you said that you were, Rajiv, for which many congratulations. But now you might think that, what do I have to do with the blue economy? Because Sonipat is quite distant from the ocean spaces. But let's say that there is a factory in Sonipat which you were decrying, and the factory produces some commodity. Let's say it produces, I don't know, what do you want it to produce? Let's say it produces boxes. And if it produces boxes, cardboard boxes, then it will also generate waste. The waste will either be in the form of liquid effluent, in which case it will flow from one water body to another until it reaches the oceans. And if you say that, no, my factory is only going to produce solid waste, and then you put that solid waste into a landfill, and then God will cause it to rain, and then the rain will leach the toxins from the soil. Once again, you will move from one water body to the other until you reach the sea. And therefore, the blue economy is as much the concern of everybody living in Sonipat, everybody living in Bathinda, everybody living in the far north in Uttarakhand, as much as it is with everybody living in the peninsula. But I also want to emphasize that although we talk a great deal about SDG 14, and I'm sure you've heard about this in the day's proceedings already, I want to emphasize that the blue economy is not only about SDG 14, but it is about all the 17 SDGs together, all of them. And when, for example, when we say that, hi, we've got a great GDP and we're climbing and our GDP is doing well, so all the economists in our panels tend to get very excited. But when you compute a GDP, you are actually calculating the cost of all the goods and all the services. And then we are reaching an absolute value of GDP in terms of trillions of dollars or trillions of rupees or whatever the currency that you might want to use. The question then to be asked is, hello, how is this being done? Who is calculating this? And that brings us to a national accounting framework and the various elements of that, which are shown on the right side of your screen. But what about the real questions? What should be the cost of a mangrove forest? Should it be the cost of the wood? Or should it be the cost of the carbon that it sequesters? What should be the cost of how much should we put the value of a coral reef? What about a sea meadow? How much should it cost? What should be the cost of a dead whale? A whale which dies and it sinks to the bottom of the sea and it takes with it a huge amount of carbon. So should the cost of that whale be while it was alive? Should the cost of the whale be the cost of the blubber, the meat? Or should the cost of the whale be something else? How is this being calculated? Who is calculating it? And therefore, who is studying how these things ought to be calculated in order to obtain the natural cost or value of our assets. What should be the cost of a river? And how should it be computed? If we were to take the traditional sectors of the blue economy, then surely you'll see that there are so many sectors that are impacted by what we call the blue economy. There is seabed exploration and mining. There is legislative and regulatory frameworks associated with it. There is shipping, fishing, and aquaculture. There are legislative and regulatory frameworks associated with them. And then there's offshore exploration, the production of energy, undersea cables, undersea pipelines, ports, urban agglomerates, coastal and marine tourism, ocean governance, marine spatial planning, energy, fresh water. How do we get climate resilient infrastructure? And in all of them, the one part which is common is this business of legislative and regulatory frameworks. This is the element that government must do. This is the element that government must devote its attention towards. So if you look at some of the policies that the blue economy policies that India has developed, you can see them on the screen. They emanate from one central maritime policy of our country, which is the declaration of our desired end state, which is security and growth for all in the region, which is acronym as SAGAR. Now, we truly believe in India that the Indian economy cannot ride upon some crest while the economies of our neighborhood are wallowing in some trough. And therefore, if we are to rise, they must also rise. All boats must rise with the rising economic tide. And it is towards that end that we have a series of policies that our government is now beginning to churn out. Is policy formulation the end point? Of course not. Then you need implementation. And in implementation, we need to be able to overcome the nexus that Rajiv spoke about. That is done best by first and foremost understanding that economic development and ecological preservation are not two separate buckets which are irreconcilable with one another. They are not mutually exclusive. Therefore, if we were to be able to go to the builders' lobby, say to them and show them that the value of their properties will rise significantly so long as they are green, so long as they are sustainable, then I think you might be able to actually obtain the change that we are all looking for. Who should do this? I think that it should be done by the youth for a number of reasons. In the present, of course, the youth have a great deal of voice, and it is very, very, very difficult for old fuddy-duddies to actually ignore the cries of the youth to say, hello, you have to be able to be responsible enough to leave me with a future. And secondly, and over the longer term, where are we getting all these politicians and bureaucrats and everybody else from? It is these youth who are going to come tomorrow and become the politicians. So on both counts, there is great hope. And I share the optimism of some of you by saying that if we do these kind of programs, if we have many clones of Rajiv Srivastava, then we will end up with a country that is sustainable and worth living. Now, let me turn to one specific sector and talk about that for a few minutes, and that is the sector about fishing. This is the picture of our seas in the year 2000, only about 23 years ago. Our seas were still teeming with fish. On the other hand, this is a picture of the future of another 23 years from now, which is 2050, in which we find that there are no fish. So the central question is, why are all the fish disappearing? And the answer to that, to get to the bottom of what is causing the fish to disappear, we need to look at the very bottom of the marine food chain and enter the world of plankton, which is a word which stems from the Greek word planktos, which means drifter. So the plankton are actually microscopic plants in the ocean. They get their energy from photosynthesis from the sun, and they form the base of the marine food chain. So algae and photosynthetic forms of bacteria are the more common types of phytoplankton. This is, of course, photographs taken from a microscope. And phytoplankton, I want to ask the kids, but I don't have time for an answer. I've asked this question many times of children, of adults, of very learned people. How much oxygen, in terms of percentage of the world's oxygen, do phytoplankton produce? And the answers are normally 5%, 7%, then some brave person will get up and say 17%, but the answer is a staggering 80%. 88% of all oxygen on this planet Earth is produced by phytoplankton. The next is the zooplankton, which are the animal component of the planktonic community, and they are heterotrophic, which is meaning the other feeding, or the fact that they need to eat some other plants or animals as food. And in particular, this means zooplankton eat phytoplankton. And they therefore, since they range from microscopic organisms to large jellyfish, they form a key link between the phytoplankton and the higher trophic levels of fish. So here's a typical example of the marine food chain. The phytoplankton eat the zooplankton, the zooplankton eat the phytoplankton, then the mackerel and sardines eat the zooplankton, larger fish like tuna eat the mackerel, killer whales eat everything, and man, who sits right on the very top, kills and eats all of them. He is right at the very top of the food chain. Now, phytoplankton thrive in cooler waters, and they tend to migrate to cooler patches of the oceans when other parts become too warm. And this migration causes marine life to move with it. So where the phytoplankton go, maybe the zooplankton follow. Where the zooplankton go, the fish follow. Where the small fish go, the big fish follow. Where the big fish go, the really big killer whales, etc., also follow. So loss of phytoplankton also means more carbon dioxide being trapped in the Earth's atmosphere. Then that makes an even hotter ocean temperature and more phytoplankton death plus migration, more fish go away. And now we find that steadily rising ocean temperatures are forcing fish to abandon their historic territories and move to cooler waters. And so tropical fish like the Indian oil sardines and mackerel are now being found in temperate waters of Norway. Norway? But the Norwegian salmon is not coming to India. So the Indian fish are koi, and the Norwegian fish are moving to and hanging around in the Norwegian waters. So we clearly have a problem, and this is why it is quite so important for us to be able to address climate change in general, and in particular, ocean warming. I want to tell you that the news is all bad. Ocean surface temperatures are currently breaking records, and you can see in this graph that average global sea surface temperature is now in 2023 the highest in the last practically 2 decades. So what we're seeing is a steadily rising ocean temperature graph. In the future, it's even more worrying, because what is now going to be happening is, as we keep bumping out these greenhouse gases with gay abandon, we're going to cause continuous rise in the sea surface temperatures, and that is going to cause all the ill effects of which I've spoken. Now, let me turn to the second part of why the fish are disappearing, and that is overfishing. Overfishing means that you are taking out more from the oceans in terms of fish stock than the ocean is able to provide to replenish itself. So 33% of global fish stocks are already overfished, and 60% are at capacity. In other words, overfishing is one of the most important non-climatic drivers affecting the whole sustainability of food security of countries like India, but not just India, of the world in itself. So here are my questions. If you were a fisherman and you were told that fish were becoming fewer in the sea, would you fish more or would you fish less? Something to think about. If you bought a new fishing boat that could go deep in the sea, would you want to catch more fish or less fish on each of the fishing trips that you go on? if the government was to subsidize your new fishing boat and make it cheaper for you, would that make you fish more or would that make you fish less? And finally, if you were the government and you wanted your country's fish exports to grow, would you ask your fishermen to fish more or would you ask them to fish less? And the answers, of course, are that if you were told that the fish were becoming fewer, you would tend to fish more because you will be sure that if you didn't fish, the next guy will. If you bought a new fishing boat, then you need to amortize that cost. And so you would be tempted to catch more fish. If the government subsidized your fishing boat, on the other hand, you might fish less. But if the government subsidized the companies that employ you for fishing, and the companies are told that their subsidies will depend upon fish exports, then I'm afraid the companies will force their fishermen to fish more. And therefore, you lead from this particular area to illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. And if you do not stop migratory stocks such as tuna and tuna-like species from being caught by the fishing fleets of neighboring countries in the deep high seas, then you will end up with no migratory fish crossing through your own exclusive economic zones. Therefore, furthermore, in fact, if IUU fishing is not stopped and arrested, it frequently morphs into arms and drugs trafficking because the illegal fisherman says, hi, there's nobody here. Koi rokne wala hai hi nahi. And so why are we bothered about fish? Let's move to arms. Let's move to drug trafficking. And finally, let's move to human trafficking. And all these ills emanate from the fact that you didn't stop IUU fishing, and IUU fishing increased because you were doing overfishing in the first place. People in India often talk about the great solution that they have called aquaculture. Aquaculture is correct. It is quite a solution, but it also has some negative impacts. There are transference of diseases across to migratory fish from these fish ponds. There is a pollution of the water systems with excess nutrients and fecal matters or waste matters. There is a salinization of the whole area, which occurs, increasing the salt content and reducing freshwater availability for other competing plants and animals. PVC piping and netting changes the landscape for marine life. And most important, perhaps, is that today we need to capture more than 1 kilo of coastal small fish like anchovies and sardines in order to produce 1 kilo of aquaculture fish or farmed fish. Now, this seems like a particularly problematic situation, and this is something that we need to address. And to move from there to something called blue justice. That means it's not enough to have a blue economy. It's not enough to have just fisheries. You must be able to provide blue justice or justice to the traditional and the artisanal fishing communities. There must be various kinds of justice: regulatory justice, economic justice, distributive justice, market justice, infrastructure justice, and so on and so forth. What about injustices? Let's look at 10 possible social injustices. One is dispossession or, ocean grabbing, environmental justice concerns which come from pollution and waste, environmental degradation of ecosystem services, the livelihood impacts for small-scale fishers, the loss of access to marine resources, of food security and well-being, inequitable distribution of economic benefits, social and cultural impacts, the marginalization of women. Women, if we were to concentrate our efforts upon women in the whole fishing supply chain and value chain, the change that we would wreak would be completely mind-bogglingly good. Human and indigenous rights abuses, exclusion from government, all of these reflect social injustice. And then we have the pollution of the oceans. We've spoken a great deal about plastics. I'm not going to dwell upon it unduly, but you must remember that plastic poisons ocean bacteria. It poisons the phytoplankton. It poisons the zooplankton. And 80% of all pollution of the oceans is emanating from the sea, and it's not just plastic. Untreated sewage and industrial effluents discharge contains huge quantities of nitrogen and phosphates, and that creates a different type of phytoplankton. Isn't this a beautiful color, blue? So this blue color is beautiful. I'm sure you'll have a great time watching it, but this is Noctiluca scintillans. And Noctiluca scintillans is a poisonous form of phytoplankton. It poisons all the fish around and in it, and it causes complete havoc. So quite apart from the obvious ecological connotation, Noctiluca sparkles or Noctiluca scintillans also have implications for militaries, their submarine operations, their anti-submarine operations. It is everywhere else. Let me switch one more part of the ocean space, which is part and parcel of our blue economy, and that is to do with shipping. Do you know that if international shipping was a country, it would be the sixth largest climate polluter currently between Japan and Germany? And carbon dioxide emissions from shipping have increased by approximately 70% since 1990. So effort is being made to stop this, because the International Maritime Organization and Lloyd's Shipping, which is the largest insurance company in the world, estimate that shipping currently accounts for 3% of annual carbon dioxide emission. But if you don't do anything, then it could represent by 2050, this number, this percentage value could go up to as much as 17% of all global greenhouse gas emissions. And yet we want to be able to continue to trade. Therefore, the International Maritime Organization has created an energy efficiency design index, which says to ship builders, you cannot build a ship and we will not license it, and it will not get insured unless it conforms to the energy efficiency design features within what is known as the Eco Delta India, or the Energy Efficiency Design Index. This requires new ships to become more energy efficient with standards that will be made increasingly difficult and stringent over time. What about ships which are already there? Well, for them, once again, we have a new index. It's called the Energy Efficiency Existing Ships Index, or EEXI. And this says that you have to be able to measure, you have to be able to come to us and say, hi, I want to enter your port. This is my EEXI rating. Then the port will say, yes, you may come in, or no, you may not come in until you improve that. Then we have another thing. As ships take in cargo, they sit deeper in the water and they become stable. When the ship discharges its cargo, it becomes very light and it becomes very unstable, much like a heavily loaded truck, which has all the load on the top, it tends to topple. And so in order to make their ships more stable, ships pick up ballast. And because ships operate in the sea, the commonest ballast is ballast water, seawater. But each drop of seawater contains microorganisms of a significant amount. And then when the ship goes to the next port where it discharges or it throws out this ballast water to take on cargo, you introduce new invasive species, which might be even much more aggressive than the native ones, changing the entire ecological balance and changing the entire food chain. So ships have been told, conform to a new ballast water management convention. And ship owners are not terribly happy because they have to now pay more money. Are the people happy? Not really, because the cost of the additional cost of putting these ships into in these ballast water systems into place is simply transferred across to the user, the final user, the consumer, that is you or me. And therefore, the answer to this lies perhaps in the development of not only green port-led development, which is green shipping, where ships are using better fuels such as hydrogen or ammonia, or hybrid fuels such as diesel plus wind sails, and also creating specific corridors, which are known as green shipping corridors, where these sorts of ships can actually pick up this green fuel rather than simply taking diesel or petrol from one element to another. And with that, I think we need to understand that four basic elements exist for creating green corridors. The National Maritime Foundation, which is a think tank that I'm proud to head, is currently engaged in advising government both at the level of the Ministry of Earth Sciences as well as the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways as to how exactly India should, could, and must create green shipping corridors with collaboration and commitment existing right across the value chain, the development of alternative fuel pathways and port infrastructure, telling the guys that this is not going to work or not going to fly unless there is a sound business plan. And of course, the government cannot evade and must not evade its responsibility for policy and regulations. And this whole business about why we are talking so much about the sea is indeed the nub of our problem, because we talk a great deal about forests, we talk a great deal about plants, we talk a great deal about the land, but all of these features, all of these activities are finally impacted by the sea. And thus far, we have spent a great deal of time doing bad things to the ocean. Now, we are fearful that the ocean is about to do very bad things to us. With that, I'll stop and turn to all our listeners and see whether that elicited any, ooh, really? I didn't know that kind of feeling, and whether you have questions about the points that I've just made. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, sir, so much. And yes, of course, last time I learned so much from you on the battery thing that you mentioned, and most of the kids did not know. Everybody is so happy that the electric cars are coming, battery operated cars are coming. Nobody realized where the batteries will come from, where they will get thrown. So maybe just like plastic. I mean, I showed them the history of plastic today. Plastic's history is not even 70 years old, less than our grandfather and some of our parents also. But it's become such a chaos in our lives. So maybe battery is the second incarnation of plastics. It will become the second chaos for us.
Yeah, kids, gentlemen, ladies, you know that we have a phrase. It's called "the way to hell is paved with good intentions," and the way to hell is paved with good intentions. And our intention was to be able to move away from fossil fuels and go to electric cars. But electric cars need electricity. Electricity needs batteries. Batteries. There are only two kinds of batteries currently. There are nickel cadmium batteries and lithium ion batteries. Both of them have one thing in common. What is that one thing? Both of them need cobalt. And where is the cobalt? Much of the cobalt lies in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and where we are desperately looking now for additional sources of cobalt. So we are diving deeper into the oceans. We're trying to do seabed mining, but we have no idea what the environmental impact of what we're going to be doing is. And so we want to go fast into it. We want to go slow. We want to make haste slowly. And therefore, we need to be able to be informed for all these things. That means we need serious amounts of study. We need children to be provided with educational tools that will open their minds to these areas, because the sea largely remains completely unknown to the bulk of the entire Indian educational system. And so when we do environmental studies, we do many things, but we don't study the oceans. We do many things. We talk about electricity and electric consumption, but we don't understand batteries. And therefore, when the batteries are used, what are you going to do with all these batteries? Where will they go? How will we dispose of them? Leave aside the difficulties in getting them in the first instance. Great, I'll stop now because there are many hands going up.
So I'll just mention two things. First of all, we established this Act Now class within the schools, and we have given them options, two options. They choose one environmental awareness campaign and one climate action. So for climate action, they choose an immediate ecosystem. For instance, you're living in a city, they can choose something that they can do, maybe tree planting, urban gardening. But for awareness part, they choose an ecosystem which is far away from them. For instance, if they're living in Delhi, they will choose oceans or beaches. as the observational part, because they need to learn that they are connected together. You can't have good life in Delhi if your oceans are not good enough. And those living in Goa, something like in the beaches, they choose something like that, urban areas or maybe forest, something like that is not connected directly. So this way they collect ecosystems. They realize that each ecosystem is dependent upon others also. And yes, it's been very eye-opening. I will leave the platform. We have one of our guests waiting, and it's connected together. He's Mr. Rahim PK from Abu Dhabi. He's a marine biologist and runs Yas Seaworld Research and Rescue Center in Abu Dhabi. So he'll be joining. Actually, we have overshot into time, but your session is so interactive, so great that there's so many hands up. So Rahim, I'll put you on the screen also, and the students can put a question to Admiral sir straight away, please. Who wants to go first? JK sir, can you coordinate, please?
Yes, Akshit, you can unmute yourself and ask.
Greetings, everyone. First of all, sir, it was an eye-opener for me. It was a great and intriguing session. The most intriguing thing I found was the ballast water. I didn't know about that, so that was a woo feeling for me. And I also wanted to tell that the first book I wrote was on blue economy. I think you can see the book. Only now you can.
Indeed.
You are using a screen, so because of that, you are
No,
not-
it's okay.
Yes, sir. So as I was telling, the first book I wrote on.
He will send a free copy to sir. Okay.
Okay, sure. So as I told you, the first book I wrote was on blue economy. So when I listened to the session of sir, there was one question in my mind that, as sir is the vice admiral, retired vice admiral, how has the shipping industry of India and Indian Navy, has it been using green fuels in all of its destroyers or frigates?
No. The short answer is no. The shorter answer, or the slightly longer answer, is that we are now switching over to utilizing greener fuels. But to use green fuels, first you have to be able to invent the green fuels. You have to create them. You have to produce them, and then you have to be able to see when you use a green fuel in, say, a destroyer or a frigate or an aircraft carrier. Then the aircraft carrier's requirements of speed, of stopping, of picking up high speed is quite different from that of a merchant ship, which actually just sets out and then sets its engine to 80% efficiency and then proceeds. So it's easier in the merchant marine. Therefore, your question is correct, that has the merchant marine been using green fuels? And the answer is that the whole world has been completely doping on the subject. And it is only now that they're realizing, oops, we better do something quickly. And even now that oops is facing the resistance from, so how much will it cost? What will my shareholders have to pay? How will I justify? Blah, 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 blah. And therefore, national and international regulations from government and intergovernmental organizations, such as the International Maritime Organization of the United Nations, are now stepping in and said, never mind your blah, 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 blah. Produce this fuel, make your ships run, or buy everybody gives everybody else a decent chance, but by so-and-so time in 2030, haven't got this, maybe switch your profession, become some other thing, but no longer will you be able to employ a ship. And now it's working because there's nothing like, there's an old famous saying, when boot meets butt, many things happen. So right now, this is what is going on. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
This is for the information of students, because Vice Admiral sir also commanded INS Virat, which was the sole aircraft carrier in Indian Naval for such a long time, which was decommissioned in 2016, I guess. So he knows all about that. It's fantastic, sir. Next question.
Yes, next we can call for Dhriti. Dhriti?
Yes, ma'am. Greetings to everyone. This is Riti Jain. Sir, your session was really very nice. As you being a great friend with the marine diversity, I would like to ask you that what are some of the innovative solutions that we as youth can do to restore the polluted and degraded marine habitats and diversity?
Wonderful question. Great. Thank you very much. So most people think that this is all the job of some scientists or some bureaucrats or some policymakers. That's all rubbish. We have instituted a program called the Marathon, which is a play on the word marathon. as in the athletics event. And so it's called the marathon. Here we're telling people, hi, do you have any ideas about how we might be able to answer the very question that you've asked? So I'm going to give you one example. There's this guy who's about, I think he's about 13 years old, and he has said that I made an exercise bicycle. Okay. I bought an exercise bicycle. I attached it to a Persian wheel, the type which pulls out water from wells, remember, with all the little buckets. And he says that all these, instead of having buckets, I've got these little troughs or trays. They pick up the plastic from, and all the flotsam and all the jetsam and all the waste from the area around this. They dump it. It goes up, it gets dumped into a collector, then the collector moves up, and you get your exercise, and you can measure the amount of calories you've lost, and you become fitter, and you get a green certificate at the end of it, and the municipal corporation comes and gives you a big hug. How did that happen? Did it take some big, important guy? No, it just took one 13-year-old kid who said, I can do this. And so we're going across throughout the country saying, if you've got an idea, write to us. We will pick you up. We will get you some publicity. We will make it work. And so how can you do it? You can do it by a number of ways. Join an organization. Go onto the internet, go Googling and say, who handles, which organization is in my vicinity that I can go to? When you go to a beach resort, of course you should have fun. Of course you should swim. Of course you should do all the wacko things that you do. But if there's somebody doing green stuff, join them, spend 3 days with them, learn, contribute, and then write about it, and write wherever you possibly can. Write in your school, write in the newspaper, write in a magazine, write to Rajiv Srivastava, write to me. All of this will count. All of this is the only thing that will count. Remember, in the military, we have one saying, okay, Dhriti, it says generals only do things in general. Major things are done by majors. And so you guys are the majors. Do the major things. Right.
Great, sir. Great.
I just told the students in the group also that sir is a good speaker, but he's a very dangerous also because he commanded INS Virat, and you know the Indian Navy is very highly efficient war machine. But like that, what he's trying to tell you that you can move mountains doing small things, very small things. Next question.
Not you can move mountains you can only move mountains one step at a time, one rock at a time.
Yeah. Next question. Rahim is also waiting.
So I think Arya has been waiting from quite a long time. Arya, are you ready with your question? Please unmute yourself.
I think you're muted.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. So actually, this is the motivation that I get from the interesting speeches. So thank you very much. And so my question is like plastic pollution in the marine is like affecting a lot of marine life. And like you said, 80% of the oxygen in our earth is due to planktons, and planktons have been affected by plastic pollution. So are there any plans? Are there any plans to do away with this plastic accumulation in the oceans? Because by 2050, there are possibilities that plastic accumulation in the oceans may be higher than the marine life accumulation.
There are not possibilities; it's a certainty.
Yeah, high possibility.
And so now, what do we do about it? Is the main question. The first thing is that efforts are being made at community level. Let's say I know a group of people who in a suburb of Pune went across to their own little locality and said that instead of using plastic straws for each of your Pepsis or your soft drinks or your Tetra Paks, etc., here, why don't you use a bamboo straw? And they went across to an NGO which works with marginalized communities, got those people to manufacture this, and then began to use that as instead of a straw, just a straw. Do you know how many straws get used and thrown into the ocean? Billions, literally billions. So is the answer only straws? Of course not. But look at the fact that government is now banned single-use plastic. Most people have no idea what single-use plastic is. Single-use plastic is any plastic that you use only once. Take the same plastic, reuse it again, recycle it, or reuse it in this particular case multiple times. Will that reduce the amount? Will that remove the plastic from the oceans? No. Will it reduce the amount that we're adding? Yes. What should we do about the one which is already there? We are now trying to find carabots. You know what carabots are? They are people who are a little bit older than you in colleges, in universities, are working out robots, which are biological robots, which actually end up eating plastic. Now we think that, wow, this is the answer. And therefore, the worry with that is that if that's the answer, will people start saying, oh, the hell with it, now we can throw as much plastic as we want because the bots will eat them up? Or what will happen when the bots increase in number to a certain point? How do you recover the bots? And will the bots become the third round of plastics if batteries are the second? In other words, we have many, many solutions. And what is limiting us? Is it money? No. Is it the fact that government is uninspired? No. Is government not interested? No. Government is interested. Then what is limiting us? Imagination. Our imagination is limiting us. Because we are in schools in which you are taught, ye padho, yehi aane wala exam mein, baki time waste mat karo. That stunts our imagination. And so when people like Professor Rajesh Srivastav, I always want to call him Dolly, Dolly the sheep, Dolly, because Dolly can be cloned. And I wanted to very much clone Rajesh Srivastav so that he can reach a larger and larger and larger group of people. And each of them can utilize the one thing that youth really has, and that is imagination. So don't allow anything to kill the imagination. That's the solution to plastics. That's the solution to governments. That's the solution to finding solutions. In Holland, there's this guy called Boyan Slat. He was 17 years old. He created a system by which they could collect the garbage from the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. What are our people doing? Asking, who is India's Boyan Slat? Not realizing that we in the Indian Ocean, we don't have a garbage patch. We have the largest garbage which is being put in, but we don't have a single patch. We need another solution. What's the other solution? I don't know. It's something that we need to ask Arya Chauhan.
So,
So,
all
sir,
my doubts are
sir,
clear.
sir, what sir is basically saying, open up your brains, because single-use brain is much more dangerous than single-use plastics. And tomorrow morning, sir, there'll be young environmentalist and tinkerer Haziq Kazi. He's having exams actually. He was 11 years old when he started thinking of a device called a device that could clean oceans, a ship that could clean oceans. And that was recognized, and currently he's in the US. He was invited to TED Talk also. He's having examination, but he has given us his videos also to show tomorrow 8 o'clock morning. So these young brains have great capacity, great imagination, and great imagination can be turned into real practices by experts, by companies, by people like who have power and wealth to do so. But you can open up your brains. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And last question, because Rahim is waiting now, sir also has to go. And don't worry, I'll get sir, because I'm personally so much impressed with everything that you can put into such a nutshell, in such a clear-cut manner that you actually want to listen on and on and on. So I'll invite him to the school also, and you can have the entire day long with him. But one last question from anyone. Choose yourself, then we can move on to Rahim.
Next.
Okay, we have Anshika.
Anshika, yes, Anshika.
Yes, Anshika.
A very awesome evening, sir. This is Anshika. So first of all, thank you so much. It was really astonishing listening you. So my question to you is that as we know, tourism and this people have a negative impact on aquaculture and marine ecosystems. So there is any way to maximize the benefits of tourism instead of negative impacts?
Absolutely. The way to do it is to get the tour operator, the tour guides, the tour companies invested in this particular business of keeping their area clean. Okay, that's really easy to say. How do you do it? Let me give you an example. Off the west coast of India, you have the Lakshadweep Islands. In the Lakshadweep Islands, off the Lakshadweep Islands, is the most spectacular coral diving areas on the in this whole area of the India, Maldives, Sri Lanka, belt. Imagine that I go to an Indian National Ship Owners Association and I tell them, hi, why don't you run a tourism ship which will actually not be a tour ship, not be a cruise liner, not be expensive. Let's run a roll-on, roll-off cargo passenger ship. And he says, but how will I get passengers? And I said, they will come because we will run this from Cochin across to Lakshadweep and from Lakshadweep to the Maldives. He says, okay, but how will that make me money? And I say, because when you go from here and you take the passengers on your ship, in a cruise liner, everything is happening inside the ship, right? All the dancing, all the games, all the movies, here, there's nothing happening in the ship. There's only cargo. It's so boring. So then what will happen? People will have to look outside. And when they look outside, what is the peculiarity of our area? Number one, as we cross the equator, what do we get? We get whales. So we do whale watching. And now there's a guy who's taking you in smaller boats from your ship to do whale watching. But if you keep your oceans despoiled, there won't be any whales. So the tour operator now has a business interest in making sure that the area around his tour area is clear enough for whales to come. Then we go up to the Lakshadweep, we do snorkeling. But you can't do snorkeling if the corals aren't there. And if the corals are bleached and are not colorful, no tourists. So we tell the tour operator, you need to ensure this. So then you bring each of these people as part and parcel of your solution and not position them as adversaries to your effort to blue the oceans. Remember, the Navy certainly has a great slogan. It says, our whites keep your oceans blue. And so what that means is that each of these areas, if you want tourism to progress in our country, which we need, then ecotourism is the solution. But ecotourism has a mindset, it creates a mindset. This is all stuff which, these ecologists do. No. Ecotourism is the way you make money, baby, money. And as soon as you start making many sounds of money, then he starts paying attention. And thereafter, you merge these two. So you make sure that your sustainability effort, your touristing or your economic effort are one and the same, so that his money is dependent upon making sure that the ecology is preserved. He doesn't do it out of altruistic goodwill. He does it out of self-interest. That's the way to go about it.
So if you can
course.
stay a bit longer, because now I have Rahim, who does exactly the same thing. He runs Yas SeaWorld in Abu Dhabi. One-day park ticket is about 8,000 Indian rupees. So some of these students can ask good question to you. Maybe he'll give you a free ticket also. So Rahim,
So I'm so sorry to have delayed you, Rahim, and all the very best. I think this was a good segue into your own presentation. Thank you very much, Rajiv. I will now try and grab a bite and then see if I can join in again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We are very grateful to you. And of course, I'll catch hold of you again and again and again.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. And thank you, children. And thank you to all your guests. Bye-bye.
Okay, Rahim, can you hear me? Yes. Let me unmute you. Yeah, thank you very much for waiting very patiently, because the sessions, obviously we had some great guests, Eric Solem, then we had the Deputy Commissioner and his Deputy Secretary in the Ministry of Urban Housing. And these are the people like who could actually interest students in what they are doing and how they can move things. And now you are there from a very diverse field, and what Pradeep sir was just saying, it's all built into your presentation also. So Rahim, floor to you.
Thanks.
So hello everyone. I hope everybody's can you hear? Everybody can hear me?
Yes.
So hello everyone. I hope everybody is doing well. So the last presentation was a very good presentation, and many of the students are watching this. It's great to see many students are interested in this and asking many of the questions. So myself, Rahim, I am basically from India. Before I was working in Southeast Asia and the Middle East. So right now I am working as a research aquaculture specialist in SeaWorld Research and Rescue Abu Dhabi. It opened just before 1 week. So our research center was opened in February, but the SeaWorld Park was opened in May 23. So if anybody want to come here, let me know in Abu Dhabi.
Yes. I'll send your contact and with a screenshot. And we are taking
Oh,
screenshots
sure.
also. So we were there, so you can get access to. And Rahim is a fantastic person. So Rahim, can you share some of your work as marine biologist and obviously what you're doing currently, and how this youth and how
Oh,
we can engage them into
so
this?
after graduating from India, so after finishing my bachelor degree, so I studied master's degree in Andaman Nicobar Islands. It's under the Pondicherry University. So Andaman Nicobar Island is the best place for marine biology. You already know that majority of the coral reefs are the ornamental fish. And it's a very good place to do the marine biology studies. After that, I got a chance in Taiwan. So from Taiwan only, I met Ronnie Chatton. So then after that, I moved to Oman. I worked in the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries for 2 years. Then I got a chance after that in Singapore. I worked more than 1 year in Singapore, then moved to Saudi for 1 year, then finally back in UAE. So majority of the work I am doing is that aquaculture, marine conservation, then climate change studies, taxonomy. These are the specialized area of mine.
So any students
So
want to ask something about marine aquaculture or SeaWorld itself or the kind of things he has for you? I mean, when you visit a aquaculture setting or a SeaWorld, has anybody been to a SeaWorld kind of thing in Delhi? Sonipat, I don't think so. Apart from nalas and little streams and ulas, you don't have anything here. So you can put any question. You must have seen it, Ross. You can put any question. He'll happily answer you. Anyone?
Anyone can ask question. Even a teacher can ask question.
Yes, teachers are very quiet today. Anybody? Okay, we have Atharva.
Yes, Atharv, unmute yourself, please.
Yes. Good evening, sir. My question was, what sparked your interest in marine biology and what motivated you to pursue a career in this field?
can you tell one more time?
He says, what motivated you to take up marine biology and what was your inspiration? What was your driving force behind taking up this subject? Because you were in Andaman, you did not have any other option.
Because the thing is that when I was a child, I usually go for fishing. So that is the way I got up into the marine biology. So I like to do fishing before itself. So after studying marine biology, so now we already know that majority of the fish stocks are like over exploiting from the wild. So only through aquaculture only we can increase the number of fish stocks, and they can, after producing into the lab, that we can release into the sea. So we can increase the stocks of fish in the wild. That is the only way. So one more thing is that, like, I like to study about the climate change and also about the taxonomy and the marine organism, different kind of organism, how they are living, how their feeding habits. These are the things interested in me. I went forward.
Any other question? Ronnie? You've been giving questions to everybody. Ask now.
Okay. I was trying to kind of come up with the questions to the kids, so you just showed me. Okay. So Rahim, I just want to ask a question to you that, so if you work for this kind of place like a SeaWorld, so
Yeah.
usually I heard that if you have a like a dolphin or something, if you have in a place that dog belongs to, they have a lot of stress. So how you guys cope up with those, the marine animals in close-cut places where they have a lot of stress than their natural habitat.
So the thing is that we are getting many negative comments from the world, like we are keeping animals in captive conditions. So what we are giving is that we are giving the same facility what they are getting from the nature to all the animals what we are keeping in the sea world. Like we are feeding, we are giving all the water quality what they needed, like oxygens and the food all the time when they need. So in that case, I don't think it's like it's causing negative impacts. So in that case, but majority of the people are still like making negative impacts on SeaWorld.
So another question, can these students get a discount for coming to the SeaWorld?
I already sent them a link with a photo and a screenshot.
Yeah, sure. Those who is coming to Abu Dhabi, let me know.
Otherwise, they will complain to animal protection rights.
So
Okay.
He had a question. Can she
Yeah.
ask one?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah, Mahi, please unmute yourself.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so my question was that does applying MARPOL help in decreasing marine litter and help in the marine world?
One more time.
Can you repeat your question? Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Mai. So,
Yeah, so sir, my question was that does applying MARPOL helped in decreasing marine litter and helped in the marine world?
something called
No.
MARPOL. I don't know what's MARPOL.
The marine pollution.
Okay.
No, I don't think it is going to like decrease the marine pollution. I don't think. According to my knowledge, I don't think it is going to reduce the marine pollution.
Okay, sir.
Chop.
All right. I think we have Jaskaran also, who has raised his hand.
So first of all, a very awesome evening to one and all present here. Rahim sir, I just had one question that which type of plastic is mostly present in the oceans, like in terms of size? Is it microplastics, macroplastics? Like what type of plastics are there?
So you already know that the microplastics are coming from the macroplastic. The macroplastics are like fragmented into microplastics. So in that case, microplastics is the major plastic what we can find in the ocean. So I already have a presentation. Can I go to the presentation? Is it okay?
Yes.
Sure.
Rahim, you're already co-host, so you can present, Rahim.
Yes.
So can you see?
No,
Not yet, sir.
you got to share.
You have to share your screen, Rahim.
Okay. Now?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
right.
it's coming.
So you already know that like over 300 million tons of plastics are produced every year for use in a wide variety of applications. So in that 300 million, 40 million tons of plastic end up in the ocean every year. And plastic makes 80% of this pollution found from surface water to the deep sea sediments. So when this plastic enters into the ocean, the marine creatures, they ingest and are entangled by plastic debris, which cause several injuries and death. And also this plastic pollution threatens food safety and quality, human health, coastal tourism, and climate change. So in that case, there is an urgent need to explore new and existing legally binding agreement to avoid plastic pollutions. So how does plastic enter into the ocean? Maybe through domestic waste or shipping waste, tires and road markings, beach waste, industry waste. These are the waste enter into the ocean that are making plastic pollutions. And when these plastics enter into the oceans, these plastics are breaks up into microplastics, and this microplastic accumulate toxins. So this microplastic then enter into the food chain. That is the things before before he talk about, like when it enter into the food chain, it directly enter into humans. So we are the people who is like consuming fish or shrimp or any other marine organism. So it enter into the food chain and we are consuming it, and we are also facing problems through these plastic pollutions. So when we looking into the survey, hundreds of thousands of marine animals get entangled in plastic waste each year. So when they entangle into the net, which limit their motion and ability to feed and cause injuries and infections. And less visible is the devastation that occur through ingestion of plastics, like seabirds, whales, turtles are commonly mistake plastic waste for food. Like you already know, the sea turtles are eat on jellyfish. So some of the time they think the plastics are like a jellyfish, so they eat that. So it's facing problem for the stomach and for the swimming, and finally they are going to die, some of the cases, because some have similar color like the same as prey. And turtle consume transparent plastic packet because they mistook they to be jellyfish. Accumulation of plastic debris among corals can harm and retard the growth of corals, because we already know that coral bleaching and all is happening due to the climate change, also the plastic pollution. And how bad it is, really how bad it is. Plastic pollution is a widespread problem affecting the marine environment. It's affecting the health of the marine species, food safety, quality, human health, coastal tourism, and contribute to climate change. And the estimate suggests that there could be upward of 5 trillion individual plastics are in the oceans. And the research shows that more than 800 coastal and marine species are directly affected by plastic waste through entanglement, ingestion, or damage to the habitat. How it is affecting to entanglement is that when the fishermen go for fishing into the sea, so some of the fishing nets they lost into the sea and that are entangled by turtles. So I think 1 week before we got some of the turtles from the wild. Those are entangled by fishing nets. So our rescue team went to the beach and they collected the turtles. We bring back to our research facility. We treated them, and after 1 month we released them back to the sea. That is the thing we are doing over here. And also the studies show that 90% of seabirds, 90% of all turtles on the planet have affecting through the plastic pollution, and millions of seabirds and 100,000 of marine mammals are dying annually. And how does this marine pollution impact human? That I already discussed before when it entered through the food web, because you already know the food web, how it is functioning. When the phytoplankton feeding on the zooplankton, so the zooplanktons are feeding on the small fish, and the small fish feeding on large fish, and large fish are fed by the other large organism. So when we eat some of these organisms, so those are already like contaminated with these toxins. So when we eat those toxins, it enter into our body and we are getting like different issues. So the final thing is, what are the remedies we can do? So in Abu Dhabi, what we are doing is that many of the children and many of the students are coming to the SeaWorld and the Yasser Research and Rescue Center. So we are giving them a class and we are giving them a sessions like regarding about the decrease or how we can reduce the plastic pollution. And also we are volunteering group of students and group of people for the beach cleanup every week in Abu Dhabi and Dubai to reduce the amount of loose plastic that makes way into the sea. And what we can do, other thing is that plan for proper disposal and dumping of plastic debris, and also checking of plastic debris at the river of mouth before they flow into the sea, and also giving awareness to the common people against the use of plastic and their advantage and how they are affecting the marine environment and the marine organisms. And also avoid plastic as far as possible. And also the best way to keep using plastic is by recycling the used plastic and remove single-use policy. Because of the single-use policy, many plastics are entering into the ocean and it affecting negatively our entire oceans and making problems in the world. So, and also the government research institute and the government research institute have to take action to control these plastic pollutions. So finally, I just want to show you some of the videos of the sea world.
Wow.
Yeah, this is it. This is my presentation. Thank you. Thank you all the people who is watching this.
Wow, Rahim. Next conference we are having in Abu Dhabi in SeaWorld. It's so
Yeah, sure.
beautiful.
Always welcome.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's eye-opening also. So thank you so much,
So the thing is
Rahim.
that,
Yeah.
so our research center, what we are doing is that we are rescuing animal also from the wild, especially dugong, dolphin, sea turtles, and also those who is entangled with the fishing net or any other things. We are getting those animal into our research facility. We are treating them well, and after they are getting like okay, after that we are releasing those animals back to the sea in a safer place.
Do you donate animals also?
No, like through aquaculture, we do. Like what we do is that through aquaculture, we are releasing some of the important things, like important fishes, those which is overexploited in the wild, especially the group of fish, and some of the other native fish, those which is important into the ecosystem. Those we produce in our like lab, and we release them back to the sea to increase the number or increase the reproductive capacity in the future.
I asked because recently we got cheetahs from Namibia and Africa, and maybe we can get dolphins and it goes in Delhi waters also, that. Anyway, thank you so much. It's so mind-boggling to have people from diverse work fields and diverse experience from all walks of life. And the students are completely confused at what to go after. But you can tell that they can choose anything that they like, and the core thing is to conserve whatever you have and protect what you already got. Don't get into reuse, recycle. You don't do something like that. You don't get to that stage where you have to reuse things and you have to recycle things. Let's become useless. Let's start using less and less, and that is much better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
thank you. I have another special guest. I don't know whether her video is on. Is Ma'am Mala Kapoor. She is the owner of Silver Line Fisheries Schools.
Ma'am
And
will be there after 45 minutes. She will be there.
no, she is already there. Hello, ma'am. Unmute.
So anyway, thank you for giving me an opportunity to talk this in this
Sure,
biggest
Rahim.
event.
Just stay on for a while, Rahim. Ma'am,
Yeah, sure.
unmute yourself, please. Kya hua? What happened?
Okay.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I was
Hi.
telling the kids about you, and Mala ma'am is Silver Line Prestige School in Gazi. Is a huge and very old school, but she's somebody who's traveled across the world. I mean, I don't think any part of the world that you have not seen and have not been to. So anything opening state for the students is a school student from Modern School Delhi and Brookfield International School in Chandigarh. Some from Lucknow School also. And these kids have been working so many days, so hard, trying to frame questions for the guests, and they are almost for 10 hours they have been on screen, and they're going to be for another 14 hours, most of them. So Mala ma'am, please.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share my views and listen to perfect in their fields. It was really a delight to connect at 9 o'clock when I woke up. I saw the message from. Okay, can I speak?
Yes. I mean, somebody's mic was on, maybe.
Okay, right. No worries. So I woke up and I saw JK's message. I was really delighted to have the opportunity of listening to so many experts from all the fields that I just stayed connected, and while I was doing my kitchen chores for breakfast for my children. That's a delight to be here. So coming to the point, it was 1993 when we used to give a card, birthday greeting card to the children. But after 6 months, I realized that card cost 10 rupees and the sapling also cost 10 rupees. And seeing the deterioration of the Hindon River, where I grew up in Ghaziabad, and we used to go for picnic and have a swim in there, and then today you cannot even touch the water. So in 1993, the degradation had already taken place. And I started discussing with people, my teachers, my staff, that what is the reason? They said because our seniors, by say, apologies to them, that time it wasn't this severe. So they did not pay attention, and they have taken all the colors from the nature, leaving just black, white, and brown colors for our new generations. That hit me really. And I started a project, Green Clean Ghaziabad to Green Clean Globe. My work is recognized with the habits of children changing at home and in school to recycle and reuse. We do not allow anything in school, one single time use plastic, which we really condemn. And wow factor, wow project is wealth from waste. So we encourage children, as children, the small steps they can take is this, that they should save wood, water, paper, power. That was the motto also. Plan today to live tomorrow was the motto also. Or arth nahi, to sab anarth hai. This was in Hindi, that if we do not have the planet, we will have nothing. And the song जीने के लिए दुनिया चाहिए, सांसों को खुला आसमां चाहिए, किताबों से पहले खिलौनों से ज़्यादा, like our children, new generations, they need open air, fresh air before the books, machines, computers, and desks. So this is a sentimental value also for children to realize that what they are doing. Like we encourage them to reuse the crayons, make the paper mache things, and spread the message of conservation of our natural resources, which are really limited. I wish I knew that I will be speaking on this. I would have asked the teachers to give me some videos, but right now it's midnight in Delhi. I can't ask them, but whatever I'm sharing, I think this is of some use. That planting a tree is also difficult because children used to bring back the saplings that, ma'am, mere ghar mein jagah nahi. There is no space in our house because they're living in apartments. But the best thing children can use, save wood, save water, save paper, save power. So these things, as small little children can do, that will help in a bigger way. This is only to instilling the values for the natural resources in our environment. If you have in abundance, it doesn't mean that you have a right to waste the resources. Some children say, my mom keeps my AC running before I reach home, which is so bad. We can realize that how bad it could be. And very reluctantly, because of the public demand, we have to succumb to such demands that have AC in schools. I never believed in having an AC, and I was the last one to put ACs because the children were opting for other schools who are air conditioned, which is actually really bad for an environment, also for the health of students. That we should condemn the use of ACs in school. But now with global warming, it was realized that children are not paying attention. They are not able to pay attention to what the teacher is saying. And teacher is also quite a bit hassled with the heat in the classes because air cooling is only effective in the summer months. And from July, it's humidity, we have to have AC. So my point is that how can we change our lifestyle? I heard a lot about marine life and damages, the shipping and everything is doing great. Listening to I'm forgetting the name, Pradeep ji, Vice Admiral.
Vice Admiral Pradeep.
Yes. So I sent to some marine friends that listen to him. This is so much of a great interest and use, and maybe you can relate it to. We as adults even do not know too much. I keep on finding the ways how can we encourage small children to inculcate the habit of environment conservation. So the food they waste, the advertisements they see and get encouraged to use, the Tetra packs is a big menace, big menace. I even once I had an idea that we should encourage the people to have parties only bringing their own plates and spoons from home, which is not a big deal. Carry your own water, carry your own plates and spoons, so there is no damage to the environment and no big expense in the sense of not big damage to the ecosystem. So these things are quite fancy. I don't know whether it will be implicated or not implied, but as he said that we should not stop our imagination. So with imagination, with small things, big things come. Yes, with every each step, we can move the mountains. So that was my message, and I'm proud to share that in 2006, Silverline School was counted in the best 20 schools in India. It was an award from Green Gobar Award. It was from Sunita Narayanji from Ministry of Science and Environment. They awarded us because of this drive, and we share our projects and all with local schools. Wherever we go, we just say, plant today to live tomorrow. So thank you so much for giving me some time to share my views.
Ma'am,
I'm ready for any question if some
ask
children
some
have.
question from you, ma'am. So anybody can ask question from Dr. Mala Kapoor, ma'am. Who is going to ask?
You can raise your hand, students.
Just a minute.
Before they make up my mind, I'll thank Mala ma'am. I know it's an impromptu appearance here, but I'm so grateful that you're here and
Myra
the
is there.
wide experience that you draw from education,
Yes,
serving
you
education
can
and
ask
environment.
question.
Yes, I went to Antarctica with only this motivation that what is there and how Antarctica one day would be the source of a life again, which Professor H.N. Datta, who was he was in National Science Lab, big scientist, and he led three expeditions to Antarctica. So he motivated me to go there and study about Antarctica. And it was a big, very deep knowledge. I mean, when you once listen to it, then only you know how deep it can be as oceans. More than that, no depth.
Yes, the
So,
farthest I have been is to Santa Claus village in Rovaniemi in Finland, which is closer to Arctic Pole. And you know, I don't know where the Santa Claus gets all these gifts from because there's absolutely nothing over there. It's all snow, cold, and Kimara, your question for ma'am? Quick question.
Good evening, ma'am. So, ma'am, my question for you is like you were motivated by seeing the river and everything, but your children, do they at this time? I think they're of our age only. I think, and do they particularly do anything that we should also apply, and we should also do any ways that your children follow, and we should also do the same thing?
Ma'am, there
yes,
is
very good
compliment for
question.
you because she is saying that children of your age.
No, she means that my school children, my
Okay.
children, she knows that I'm a grandmother, 65 years old. I have 4 granddaughters. So coming to the answer, yes, as adults, it's our duty to educate our children. And the best thing is in your culture, we instill the values. At right now, more than anything else, more than planting a tree, we have to instill in you that what is the advantage and what is the love of for a tree. How tree gives all us in life. We get everything from the nature, everything from nature. So little children, they are instilled with these values. One day your sanskar, your education, the real values come up, and then you start. Maybe I had some motivation from my childhood, which came up when I was only 32. Oh, that was even very late to realize. So children, they may not right now follow all we tell them, but I'm so sure one day when they grow up, they will realize that what great values they have learned, what is instilling in them. And this is the making years. We are making children future citizens. So we have to instill the values. And yes, to the best of their limits, they are saving wood, water, paper, power. At least in school, they reuse, they do not waste anything. And at home, we get compliments from parents also. Yes, he makes sure that whenever he leaves the room, he shuts the AC, he shut this thing. Barring a few, there are always exceptions. I cannot vouch for 100%. But yes, a big drive, it's all our duty, adults' duty to take up such drives and instill the values in our children.
Ma'am, Akshay
Thank you.
would like to ask a question from you, ma'am.
Sure.
Greetings, ma'am. Now, my question is that how can we turn household garbage into greener fuels, and what are the various methods through which we can turn the household garbage into greener fuels?
See, I have seen a few videos on how we can do it, but not most of them can use it because they are in apartments and all. And over here comes the responsibility of the municipality, that garbage disposal and garbage management should be the biggest challenge right now, should be the biggest project right now. Even I am looking for some answer, and I would like to have your name and your phone number so I can contact you. You're a very enthusiastic person. I will like to have your book also. I'm very impressed with your book you were showing to sir. And kindly, JK sir, please send me a copy of his book. I will keep it in my library and show it to my children also. So coming to the garbage disposal was the main discussion every time, how to do it, how to reduce the garbage. So reuse for how long? That is not sustainable and practical also in everyday life. We tend to throw. So every house cannot have a green bin and a yellow bin and a red bin and a blue bin everywhere. Even I have seen people who have the green and blue bins around, they are not using it properly. I've seen at the airports, I keep observing, because the knowledge is less, the emphasis is less. We are only, all the human beings are only for our self-interest. Like they said, if fishing company is subsidized, they get boats on subsidy, they will have the fishermen fish for more fishes, right? They cannot say that, okay, don't, because their business will be lost. So the world is going around, and sorry for our seniors who have left this world in 2023 like this. So we should be doing something substantial, very practical, which we can sustain. And I just pray to God that predictions for 2050 never happen. We should be able to control our system with so many genius children and experts in the field. We shall be certainly triumph the challenge. Thank you.
Mala ma'am, we are trying to turn these young kids into climate warriors because हमारे पास भी मेल आते हैं, इसी वाली बात आपने बताई ना, तो हमारे पास मेल आते हैं कि हमारे बच्चों को क्लासरूम में गर्मी लगती है और आपने हमारे फीस से हमारे अपने कमरों में तो एसी लगा लिए, बच्चों के क्लासरूम में क्यों नहीं है? So I keep on telling the students also that there is something that you need to resist. Of course, sometimes it becomes impossible to not to do with amenities, but maybe as you get used to system, learn to adapt and change, make your body stronger.
Absolutely.
Because I don't think these things were available many centuries ago. So instead of fighting with parents, we are turning these little students into climate warriors. So they can say no to their own parents. We don't want it. We can live without this. So thank you so much for enlightening us. And
thank you
for
very
your
much.
For your kind information, we have dedicated this next 6 hours. In fact, we've already killed their 2 hours, 6 hours for the student discussion. So they'll be discussing until 3 o'clock in the morning. And after that, we have still 9 hours to go, and we'll be joined at 3 o'clock in the late in the night from our guests from United States, Mexico, Guatemala, and a whole bunch of young climate actuaries from around the world, as young as 11, as young as 14, working in that geo. And then at closing ceremony 11:30, we'll be joined by Susan Gardner, who is the head of Ecosystem Division, United Nations Environment Program. So thank you, ma'am, so much for being here. And I'm sure
from Brahmjot,
yes. JK sir just told me that you're traveling and you readily agreed to join in. So
I'm in Denver right now, the west side of America. Over here, exactly, I'm 11.5 hours behind India. So I wish I knew it, so my more school staff and children could join and take benefit of such speeches on the topics which I am also feeling woo. Actually.
Thanks, ma'am. Brahmjot.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Greetings, ma'am. So, ma'am, my question to you was that what advice can you give to us children and today's youth to rejuvenate the nature and the environment around us?
See, nobody takes advice. I haven't seen very few people take advice, only when parents are very aware. I have such families in school who really help and give suggestions, and they make sure that children follow because it's their future. We will be gone soon. It's your world, not only your country or your city. This world is new generations. So this belongs to you people. And first of all, we have to make them realize. I tell my children, ek din bhukha reh ke dekho, try stay hungry for one day. And when there will be no food, no water, what will you do? So this is to sensitize children the most. When they are sensitive, when a child has self-drive to do something, they are day and night busy in their work, their projects and their studies and their clarification, their projects. And otherwise, teachers, principals, parents can all keep on telling them 100 times a day and they get frustrated and they don't follow. So the only thing is to sensitize is the biggest thing about each and everything. We have to make responsible children for environment, for brotherhood, for being a global citizen, respect for all the religions. This is only sensitization, which is the most important thing. If you're sensitive, nothing is impossible. If you realize, nothing is nothing is left to be done. So if the self-realization and the feeling of belongingness, the rest of the world, what is they doing? Selfishness. Main kar lu, let me enjoy my life, let me enjoy the AC and tuna fish and salmon and whatever. Whatever will happen in future is not my botheration. Government will do. Who is government? We are our government. So if we as elders can sensitize children, giving advice, nobody takes it. They hate you. Okay, whenever she comes, she just has few words of wisdom and then she says bye-bye. But this is difficult. That's why the task is on. It's a huge task. We have to carry on. Like the little bird who kept on bringing the water in her beak to extinguish the fire in the forest. And the hippo said, what are you doing? She said, I'm doing my best. I know I cannot extinguish, but I am doing my best. So what we as adults, we have to do our best to give the sanskar, the values to children, to make them responsible and sensitizing them. That's the big thing. Youth, if youth is awake, like if they know how to vote, whom to vote, they should know how to live. And living with natural lifestyle is the best way for life. I wish everybody becomes vegetarian. So many people will lose their jobs. So that is not possible. That the world goes on. And because of us, because of JK and Rajiv sir, these programs are very important. I wish I knew it earlier and I would have invited all my school and local schools also to become a part and take advantage. Thank you so much for giving me time.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for sparing your valuable time. I know that, that was all odd hours in the morning when you saw the message, and then you were there in the kitchen, and from there, Rajiv, you called. I know that because I told
I postponed my shower and my everything. I said, no worries. I just put lipstick and be there. So thank you very much, JK. Thank you very much, and keep organizing. It's very motivating for me, and I'm really attached. Kitchen work could be done later, so I dropped everything, and this is the motive. Earth nahi hai to sab anarth hai. If land is not there, earth is not
I
there,
got
to
that
khana
quote.
pina. So thank you very much.
Since ma'am is in Devar, I advise the student to listen to. It's a love song though, but it's a beautiful lyrics and it connects to nature. Also, Red River Valley. When you find time, find the lyrics and find the song. Also, it's a beautiful song. Thank you, ma'am.
I have
And
many, yeah, Jate Jate, I have many songs written by me and composed,
yeah,
and
you
our
sing also. I
children.
know that you sing also.
Yes,
Maybe.
yes, and the children who like that song,
can
Jeene
we
ke
have some
liye
lines, ma'am? Can we have some
yeah,
lines?
I'm ready for that. I'm very
Yes, ma'am.
spontaneous and
Please.
prompt person. So,
Wonderful song.
जीने के लिए दुनिया चाहिए, सांसों को खुला आसमां चाहिए. जीने के लिए दुनिया चाहिए, सांसों को खुला आसमां चाहिए. किताबों से पहले, खिलौनों से ज्यादा. ये बच्चों की तरफ से है. What I realize that children need a world to live. Books, desk machines are useless if we do not have our earth. So I can send JK you all the songs and you can play whenever there is a pause or a gap.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll be happy if children are happy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Really
much.
touched. Thank
Thank
you.
Over to Rajiv.
Okay, so now we will be taking off and I'll hand it over to Sakshi ma'am. Is Shivangi here in the session? I don't know where is she. This session belongs to students and they are talking about all about eating apples to stay awake and eating coffee, 99 rupees coffee or whatever they can. But this session belongs to you. I'm very, very grateful that you guys have made our day. I mean, this is fourth edition of this event and we have been discussing throughout between JK sir, me and Ronnie, that it has been made much more impactful, much more promising and made us happy by having you students. So whatever Sakshi ma'am and the teachers did the training for you, it has all come paid. And I must tell you, all the guests I'm getting feedback and impressions, and this is the first time they're not leaving their session. So we're overshooting others' time. Usually guests 8:30, 9:30, 9 o'clock, they will leave. But they're staying on because they are so much interested. So thank you so much for all the 61 participants who are currently in the session. And I will be there for some while. I'll hand it over to Sakshi ma'am. Try to fit them all in, but I'm not sure whether they will all get an opportunity also.
Rajiv, can you hear me?
Ronnie, let me complete, then I'll hand it over to you before that. And I will be taking over the reins at 3 o'clock when Dr. Ash Pachori and our entire gang from America and Mexico will be joining their sessions. From that onwards, it's very, very educational, very, very informative, and they have young climate activists around the world. If they like you, you can join their movement also. Dr. Ash Pachori runs the Protect Our Planet movement and World Sustainable Development Forum, two powerful bodies in the world, which was originated usually by Dr. Rajan Pachori, who was a Nobel Peace Prize winner. We are great friends and he's always very assisting with us. Anytime I send an email, he responds to that also. I'm mighty sure 3 o'clock you're not leaving. It's your session, but please, these opportunities do not come often. If you are there, they'll be very, very happy. We'll have Dr. Norma Munoz also, who is the climate advisor to the President of Mexico, and certain very, very powerful guests. So be there also. 3 o'clock is not your deadline. So try to keep awake, try to keep engaged. And we at our age, see JK sir, he's so old. I'm getting so old. Ronnie sir is so old. Sakshi ma'am is old. We can do it. Why can't you do that? You have all the energy and everything inside you.
Sakshi is not old and Ronnie is young, okay?
Oh, these kids have made her look older now. But anyway, Shivangi is here also. So I will hand it over to Ronnie. He was saying something, then to Sakshi and Shivangi. Please take over the session. I'll take off. I'll be staying here for a while, and I and JK sir need to take off for a while because 9 hours again we have to spend here. But my TV is on. I'll be watching it. Anything happens, just ring us up. Okay. Thank you.
Now, the reason, because I just want to get in, because Akshit was talking about garbage and recycling. Actually, in Taiwan is a great model that you can do the research. Taiwan is very famous for its garbage disposal, and we get garbage trucks here very often with the Beethoven music. So it comes to your neighborhood, I think, 5 times in a day. They will come and pick it and everything. And even they have you need to buy a plastic bag, the bags from it, and the price is no matter how bigger the bag is. So if it's the smaller the bag, you just need to pay the lesser price. So that will make the household to create less waste. Okay, so you need to buy this bag from these shops, and they will QR code and scan it. And this is the bag you can only dump it to the garbage can. Okay, so this is actually makes families to create less waste, because if they create more waste, they need to put in a bigger garbage where they need to pay more money. It's all about the bag you pay for it. Like a smaller bag, less money, bigger bag, bigger money. So they do solve it. And also, if you have a batteries or CDs, you gave them like 1 kg of battery, something, they will give you soil. So you can use the soil to plant it. So this is a trick. So they use it, so they need to reuse it properly. And actually, when I came to Taiwan, any plastic, like a paper boxes or something, I just used to, even in a recycler, I would throw it there. But I learned from people here, no, you need to clean it. And they would clean more. Even sometimes I think maybe I'm wasting more water, but they will make sure to clean it properly, so for recycling it. And so if you want to do like a garbage disposal waste management, Taiwan is the best place to learn from it. They have a lot of tricks, they do it. And hopefully I can invite some experts in the future so they can talk to you all. Okay.
Rani, everybody has their own expertise. Taiwanese are good at garbage disposal. You can disappear garbage in no time. And Indians are good at garbage creation. We can create mountains of garbage in no time. By the apart from these jokes apart, do you know that most of these European countries, especially USA, how do they dispose their garbage? Even today, they sell it off to poor countries.
Yeah.
So truckloads, shiploads
They
of
send to
garbage is collected in
Indonesia. Yeah.
US, and because they can't dispose it off, they send it to the poorer countries. They used to send it to India also, but India refused. But Bangladesh and other countries which need some money, they send it to this garbage. This is how we work. We throw our garbage on others. So that's the culture that is built in. But anyway, so
There also just want to actually there also that you can actually throw your old furniture. There's a places every city they will make it better new one and you can buy it back.
Ronnie, it's 11. We have already taken 2 hours away from their slots, and Akshit has to focus on. He wants to do everything: AI, book writing, author, garbage disposal, plastic pollution. Make up your mind, man. Let some other people also do something. And he is very talented. He's liked and loved by all of us here. So thank you very much. So should we hand over to Sakshi now? Sakshi?
I'm ready, sir.
And Shivangi is with you.
So, Shivangi ma'am is ready.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So I request all the students to be very alert now. And we'll be starting with Arav.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you can start with your speech.
Ma'am, just start. Yes. Ma'am, so can I start? Ma'am, can I start?
Yes, Arav, you can start.
Okay, ma'am. Good evening, one and all present here. I, Arif of the Bond School in stand before you today to emphasize the importance of sustainable transportation in our life. Transportation plays an important role in our daily routine, connecting us to our workplaces, schools, and communities. However, I know traveling can be real fun, but did you know that the transportation has a significant effect on our environment, economy, and well-being? As we face challenges of climate change, air pollution, and resource depletion, it is imperative that we prioritize sustainable transportation solutions. We must shift our focus towards alternative modes of transportations, such as that minimize carbon emissions and promote a healthier and greener future. One of the key pillars of sustainable transportation is to encourage public transportation systems, efficient and accessible public transit networks that reduce the number of cars on roads and that also reduce traffic congestion and emissions. By investing in buses, trains, and trams, we can provide affordable and convenient options for people to choose sustainable alternatives over private vehicles. Furthermore, we need to encourage active transportation modes such as walking, cycling, and encouraging the use of cycling not only reduces pollution but also promotes physical activity and also improves health. Last but not the least, everyone present here, the choices we make today will define the world we live in tomorrow. Let us come together to embrace sustainable transportation solutions, not only for benefit of our environment, but also for well-being and prosperity of future generations. Thank you.
Great speech, Arav. So I think we should move on without any further ado because we are actually short on time. We should move on to the next person. Next we have is Arna Bhatia from the Modern School. Arna? I don't think we can hear you.
Yeah, you've unmuted, but we are not able to hear you.
We still can't hear you. Uh, do one thing. It's okay. You can take your time and fix your audio. In the meantime, we can move on to the next person if that's fine. Ma'am, that's fine.
Now I'm audible.
Chalo, much better, much better. Please continue, darling.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, one and all. Today I am here to present my idea on how I think we can beat plastic pollution. In the era of new technologies, we are bound to use plastic in different forms in our day-to-day activities. But we do not know what is to be done with these items after use. People think, yes, we know what is to be done. We just have to dispose of them in the dustbin. But no, it is not what is supposed to be done. We have to follow the 3 R's. But what do they mean? The 3 R's are recycling, reuse, and reduce. Let me start with reduce. It is very obvious we have to reduce the use of plastic by replacing plastic items with steel, glass, or paper. For example, instead of plastic bottles, we can use steel bottles while traveling and glass bottles at home, offices, schools, etc. Reuse meaning using the same plastic item repeatedly. Now, for recycle, it means that we should practically reuse the same plastic item by converting it into something new. Like a plastic bottle can simply be recycled into a flower pot. Even there are some organizations working to recycle plastic, like Recycle India Foundation, which is a countrywide organization. Now, what I think we can do is that we can start from a school or society and arrange proper bins in which we throw only recyclable items. And then we can get in contact with any one NGO like this and get this plastic recycled by their help. I believe that there is only one earth and we need to act now. Thank you.
Very nice, Arna. It was a lovely speech, and yes, we will definitely try to follow your advice. And it's actually great that, speaking on such a huge platform. So, yeah, it was amazing. Thank you so much for your time and your speech.
So I think we should move on to the next student. We have Arya Chauhan from 8B, the modern school. Arya, are you here? And if I end up mispronouncing any of your names, please correct me. Arya, are you here? Yes, the stage is yours.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, one and all. I, Arya Chauhan of the Modern School, a member of the Act Now Club, would like to share my idea on plastic pollution. We can't possibly discontinue the complete use of plastic, but this is a small student-oriented idea that can make us all aware and an active volunteer to do away with plastic pollution. My idea is to introduce a reuse day in our school, where we will have to recycle, reuse the plastic waste that we produce in the school premises. Rather than just dumping all the plastic bottles or polythenes into the trash can, we can upcycle this for example, creating bird nests, bird feeders, fountains, containers, etc. from plastic bottles. Use plastic polythene as a pot and grow plants and tree saplings. In many activities like these, we are supposed to bring materials from the market. For this, we have to buy the bottles or whatever required. This ultimately promotes the purchase of plastic. However, this idea differs. It concentrates on eliminating the pre-existing pollutant in the school. This will also send a message across the students to not bring plastic materials to school, as at the end of the month, they will have to reuse it by themselves. Also, this will decrease the plastic waste accumulation in the school, and also we would be using plastic as a resource that is helping our earth go green. This small movement also promotes two SDG goals, goal number 12 and goal number 15, responsible consumption and production, which is the goal number 12. Mass production and consumption of plastic are major contributors to plastic pollution in the sea and on the land. Burning all the plastic as a form of waste management contributes to toxic air pollution. The best way to promote SDG number 12 is through an absolute reduction in plastics. But keeping in mind that a lot of plastic has been produced already and this can be decomposed within a few years, thus, let us take a small step forward towards bringing this plastic into good use. SDG number 15, repair ecosystems and retain biodiversity. Plastic, when directly is dumped into oceans and landfills, it releases microplastics because of the various chemical impact on it. But when we repurpose the bottle of plastic into a bird feeder or containers, we use the very non-decomposing property of plastic that gives us the difficulty to find a way to get rid of it as a disguised food. Because what we have now is a permanent product. We can't change everything in one step, but one step can change everything. Only if we act now. Thank you.
Yes. Wonderful speech, Arya, and I loved how you emphasized on the practical aspect of it because I think it's very important to see what the ground reality is as much as we all would love to live in an idealistic world. So, continuing from that, so great speech, Arya. I think you really did very well and simple topic, yet the way you explained it, it really got all of us thinking. So let's move on to the next person. We have Akshat from Brookfield International. Akshat. Akshat. Okay. The floor is all yours.
Greetings of the day. I'm Akshat Malhotra, an active ACTA member and a student of Brookfield International School. As a teenager of the 21st century, I see and hear a lot of people talking about carbon footprint. But however, today I'm going to talk about the water footprint. When we use any AI chatbot like the revolutionizing ChatGPT, Wolfram Alpha, which calculates your mathematical solutions, or whenever we meet like this, the largest event at now on Zoom, on Microsoft Teams, Google Meet, etc., every second spent on these platforms and every question asked to this AI chat box uses a lot of water due to the complex server infrastructure. Now, talking about how I contribute to the environment and save my water. I do a lot of things. First of all, I reduce unnecessary messaging. So I don't message many people. Second, I also opt for video calls judicially because video calls use a lot of water, as I told you, due to the complex server infrastructure. And third, I promote groups instead of personally messaging everyone, as I told you, because of the water consumption. So I believe all of these things add up to 2 SDG goals. SDG number 6, clean water and sanitation, and SDG number 12, responsible production and consumption. And for the SDG number 6, clean water and sanitation, I've seen a major problem in India, and that is the flush tank systems. Flush tank systems in India have also been using the same amount of water, the old flush tanks, for solid and liquid both of waste. So for that, I have created a website, and I can possibly show it here if I have the rights. So I don't have the right now. So Sakshi ma'am, can you please give me the rights so that I can share the website?
Yeah, I'll ask the technical team to give you the rights so that you can present your presentation.
Yeah, thank you so much. I got the rights. So this is my website I prepared and I built for the old flush tank systems in Revolution. It's a prototype, you can say. So Future Flush. And this is all of the things that I explained about what are the difference between the new flush tank systems and the old flush tank systems. This is a well-designed website. I must say it as a home. It is a gallery. There's a gallery with different photos. And a page where you can contact us. So that will be all. So I just wanted to say, if we all contribute like this and spark a little bit of revolution, we can all contribute to a bigger revolution that can bring about a huge change in this world. So you have to be the revolution and act now. Thank you so much.
That's a lovely speech, Akshat. And I think a very good use of technology, and you're only in ninth grade. So I'm really looking forward to what you'll do once you are done with your college. And I think less messaging is something that's not only something that'll be great for the environment, as Akshat pointed out. It is something that our parents will also be thankful for, because all the time they're pointing out the fact that we are on our phones, texting, and on social media. So that is also something that our parents will be thankful for. So thank you so much, Akshat. So let's move on to the next student. We have Akshita Ahuja from the modern school. Akshita?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you. May I start?
Yes, please, please. It's all yours.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Akshita Ahuja. I'm in class 8 of the modern school and a passionate member of Act Now Club. My action towards the nature focus towards the second sustainable development goal, zero hunger. My idea is for educational institutions, which is Roti Bank. Many schools in India are already doing this. Now, what is it and how does this work? Roti Bank is a step to help the needy people all around the world. There are still some people for whom it is a real task to eat even once a day. This works as students will come together, give their packed food, which is homemade, and authorities of the school will donate it to some local NGOs to help the needy people. Now, the question arises why this practice should be adapted by all schools around the world. This should be adapted by all schools as education institutions, as education institutions has innocent children who want to help the needy people but are unaware how to. So it will be a great opportunity for them. I myself try to give away my extra food to house helps, and on some weekends I cook food myself, pack it in a biodegradable packaging, and give it out to many people who haven't eaten in days. This is one of the ways to help the numbers decrease of people dying of hunger. But this is only possible if we act now. Thank you for lending me your ears.
Yes, thank you so much, Akshita. And I absolutely like the fact that all the students are again and again using the word act now, because seeing recently in news, we heard that out of all the 8 boundaries that we have towards a safe planet, mankind has managed to cross 7 of them. So we actually have to act now. Otherwise, we won't have a sustainable planet to live. And it will happen within our generation. So thank you so much, Akshita. Now, before we move on to the other students, we have a few videos that we would like to show you. So technical team, could you please play them?
I request the technical team to play the video V60, and thank you, Akshita.
I see a patch of earth, and I will act now. A whiff of air I take in, wondering I'm healthy within. To clear the air of doubt, not true. Act now, we really have to. The sky can hold its blue. Hey buddy, hey friend, just for a start, fire your heart. Five elements seek you to do your part, to do your part, do your part, I see a patch of earth, and I have the will. I love the patch of earth, and I will act, I will act, I will.
Well, indeed, it was an amazing one, very informative and eye-opener. So moving on, we have the next student, Alicia from Springfield. Alicia, are you there? Yeah, perfect. All right. Welcome, Alicia.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, may I start?
Yes, yes, you can definitely start.
Thank you. Shall I start?
Yes, yes.
A very pleasant evening to one and all present here. I, Alicia, student of class 9 from Springfield and a member of ACT Now is here to deliver the speech on environment. So it goes like, nature is the greatest of all the teacher, and the children should be surrounded by with the things of nature, which have their own educational value. Beautifully said by Sri Ravindranath Tagore, an environmental pioneer. Today, I feel extremely privileged to be the part of most concerned agenda environments. We youths in this era are fighting for our future on this earth. Losing our lives is not like losing a competition, a job, or something else. I'm here to speak up for all the generations to come. I'm here to speak on behalf of green land that is turned barren and is being ignored around the world. I'm here to speak for the countless animals dying across this planet because they have nowhere left to go. I'm afraid to go out in the sun now because of the holes in our ozone. I'm afraid to breathe the air because I know that harmful chemicals are in it. I sadly ponder when I see the dry stream, which my father tells that once it used to flow till brim, and he, with his brothers, used to swim there. And now we hear that animals and plants going extinct every day, vanishing forever. And my life, I have dreamt of seeing the great herds of animals, jungles full of birds and butterflies. But now I wonder if they will ever exist for my children to see. I politely ask all the audience, did you have brains of these things when you were of my age? All this is happening before our eyes, and yet we act as if we have all the solutions. I am only a child, and I don't have all the solutions. We need to realize, to know the facts and the ways to fix the holes in our ozone, to bring the fishes back up in the dead stream, to bring back an animal now extinct, and to bring back the forests that once were where is now a desert. I am only a child, yet I know we all are a part of family. We have seen poor rat picker picking up plastic, scraps, bottles, and other discarded plastic in our surroundings. Though they are not cleaning the environment deliberately, but they're cleaning the environment. Why can't we, as educators, can acknowledge them about the importance of keeping the environment clean? And we can also have them as a part of 3 Rs, that is, reduce, reuse, recycle. Now, as a human, very humbly I plead that let's put our heads together and should act as one single world towards one single goal, that is to save Earth. To foster love towards nature, me and my friends have taken an exemplary step. We plant sapling on our birthdays. Sometimes I used to visit slum areas and aware people about cleanliness and also request them not to use plastic. Now I end up with the words sustainability requires coordinated action for the global commons. Thank you.
Very good, Alicia. I'm really happy to know that you are planting saplings on your birthdays, which is really amazing. So, if all of us try to do that, it will be really, really helpful. And yes, even I have heard my father saying that, there were clean streams around us and we used to swim. So yes, but definitely we say that it's okay, better late than never. So it's time for us to act now. Yes, we are starting a little late, but it can definitely be mended, right? Great, amazing speech, Alicia. Thank you so much for joining in and giving in your time. Next, we have Anshika of grade 10 from Brookfield International School. Anshika, please unmute yourself. Welcome, welcome, Anshika. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect.
A very awesome evening, everybody. This is Anshika from Brookfield International School. So I have to start with the little poem written by me. Yeah. धरती धरती को तुम माँ बुलाते हो, इस माँ की गोद में अपनी कितनी ही कठिनाइयों को सुलाते हो। बरसों से यह तुम्हारा बोझ उठाती आई है, पर यह माँ इस बोझ को बोझ नहीं अपना गर्व बताती आई है। पिछले लाखों सालों से इसने सिर्फ तुम्हें दिया ही दिया, ना हमसे कोई हिसाब लिया और ना हम पर कोई संदेह किया। शरीर के ये 5 तत्व अग्नि, जल, आकाश, धरती और वायु, जिनकी वजह से तुम जीवित हो। तुमको लगता है कि ये धरती तुम्हारी, तुम इसे अपने हिसाब से चलाओगे, पर जागो, तुम गलत हो, क्योंकि तुम सिर्फ एक छोटे से प्राणी जो सिर्फ इसकी एक छोटी सी जगह में सीमित हो। कस्में अपने लिए खाते हो, अपनी इसी माँ का नाश करवाते हो। क्या तुम ही वह लोग हो जो धरती को माँ बुलाते हो? क्या हो गया है इंसान तुझे, तू इंसानियत को भूल गया है? तेरी आंखों के सामने पर्दा या तू किसी अंधेरे में खोया है? चलो तुम्हें इस अंधेरे से बाहर निकालती हूँ। क्या कष्ट हमने दिए अपनी धरती माँ को तुम्हें मिलकर बताती हूँ, सब शुरू से समझाती हूँ। जल, जल मेव जीवनम, जल को तुम जीवन बताते हो, इसी को प्रदूषित कर पाप कमाते हो। हजारों नदियों को तुमने नाले बना डाला है, जो होती थी कभी सुंदर स्वच्छ नदियां, आज वह सिर्फ एक नाला है। हम कितना करते हैं इसका प्रयोग, इसका कितना सेवन है। जागो, जल के नीचे भी जीवन है। छोटे छोटे पौधे और मछली जो सांस लेते इसके नीचे है, पूरा ही संसार समाया इसके पीछे है। जल को गंदा करवाया है, इस सुंदर प्रकृति का नाश करवाया है। क्या तुम ही वह लोग हो जिन्होंने धरती को माँ बुलाया है? वायु, वात विश्वकर्मा, विश्व आत्मा, विश्व रूप प्रजापति, वायु में है सब समाया। विश्व आत्मा, इन सब दर्जों का हक वायु ने है पाया। इस वायु से ही जीवित रहने के लिए हवा है तुमने पाई, यह वायु ही है जो तुम्हारे लिए वरदान बनकर है आई। कारखाने, इंडस्ट्रीज बनाकर पूरी वायु को दूषित कराया है, इस कुदरत का विनाश करवाया है। क्या तुम ही वह लोग हो जिन्होंने धरती को माँ बुलाया है? तुमने पेड़ कटवाए, कारखाने बनवाए, मिट्टी में खुदाई कर इमारतों में चिनवाए, प्लास्टिक का उपयोग कर धरती की तबाही का कारण बने हो। तुम धरती के विनाश के लिए आगे खड़े हो। तुम छोटे से प्राणी इस बड़ी सी धरती पर समाते हो, फिर भी इस पर तबाही मचाते हो। क्या तुम ही वह लोग हो जो धरती को माँ बुलाते हो? अब हम और तुम परिवर्तन चाहते हैं, अपनी पुरानी स्वच्छ धरती को वापस लाते हैं। जो विनाश हमने किया उसको हम ही सुधारेंगे, अपनी धरती माँ को एक बार फिर संवारेंगे। यही समय है कुछ कर दिखाने का, दुनिया को सच दिखाने का। कितना दिया धरती माँ ने हमें, इसका कर्ज चुकाने का। आओ मिलकर धरती को सजाओ, अब दिल में बस एक ही पुकार, यही समय है एक्ट नाउ, अब तो एक्ट नाउ। अपनी प्यारी धरती के लिए चलो पेड़ उगाते हैं, ताकि गर्व से बोल सके कि हाँ, हम ही वह लोग हैं जो धरती को माँ बुलाते हैं, धरती को माँ बुलाते हैं, धरती को माँ बुलाते हैं।
Amazing, Anshika. Really impressive. And what an outstanding poem. Really, you've written it very well, and you can carry on with your speech as well.
So yeah, to make my city, my country, and my world sustainable, I would like to promote urban agriculture. Strange. Whenever we come to the word agriculture, the one thing came to our mind is whether rural areas or village areas. But as a fact to tell you, over 800 million people practice agriculture in urban areas. Yeah, this is true. What this much percentage practice urban agriculture, but what are the advantages? Yes, so the first advantage we got from the urban agriculture is that whenever we grow crops and food in the rural areas, it needed transportation to bring that crops from rural to urban areas, and now this causes a lot of carbon dioxide emission. So to avoid this CO2 emission, we should grow crops in urban areas. And the second advantage we get from this is that there's a huge population, and with this huge population, there is a very much need of these crops. And by this, if we will grow crops in the urban areas and the city areas, there will be a helping hand to the village farmers, and there will be the more food at affordable prices, thus solving the issues of zero hunger and the people who are really poor and cannot get the meal of one time. So yeah, we need to act now. There is never any time but now. There will be never any time but now. Yeah, this is the time. Act and act now. Thank you.
Very nice. Superb, Anshika. Really impressive. And actually, you made me realize that this is the time we must act now. And the kind of topics that you covered, that we need to grow crops in the urban area, it is really, really impressive. Definitely, we'll all try, put our hands together and try in the same as you suggested. Right? So, moving forward, we have our next student from the modern school. Arihant, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am. A very pleasant morning, everyone. I'm Aryan from the Modern School, Delhi. I would like to share my views and thoughts about plastic pollution and how it's been damaging us and our environment. I would also like to talk about my idea that how could we stop plastic pollution at student level. Firstly, about 300,000 to 1 million people die each year due to plastic pollution. Can you imagine? These many people are dying just by these plastics thrown away by us. And it also takes so much time to decompose. Almost 500 years are taken by one bottle of plastic to decompose. So my idea is to organize plastic-free challenges in schools. Students will be challenged to go a certain number of days without using plastic items such as straws, water bottles, and other food containers. Instead, they could use copper water bottles and steel lunchboxes. This challenge can be made competitive by awarding prizes to the classes or individuals who have successfully completed the challenge. This can not only raise awareness about plastic pollution, but also encourage students to adopt sustainable habits, and they can carry it into the adulthood. It will also be a fun and engaging way to involve students into it can also be sorry ma'am. It can also be a fun and engaging way to involve students and in the fight against the plastic pollution. I myself use copper bottle and steel lunchboxes, and today I stand before you committed to make a positive impact on the environment. I pledge to clean some portion of my city each week, reduce my plastic usage, and recycle properly. This act can this act can satisfy two SDG goals. SDG SDG number 15, repair ecosystem and retain biodiversity, and SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities. This act will also educate others about the harmful effects of pollution and encourage them to adopt sustainable practices. Together, we can make a difference and protect our planet for our future generations. We can save the earth only if we act now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arihan. I must say the speech was really informative. It's just that I would really like if you could give us a nice smile the same way. Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much, Arihan. It was really nice, informative, and an insightful speech. And definitely, we are the entire motive of the 24-hour live event is to educate everyone, is to bring information so that we can actually act now, right? So moving forward, we have our next next student from the modern school, Athar Vats. Hello, Athar. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Perfect. So we are all ready to listen to your speech. So you can, the stage is all yours and you can carry on.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Athar Vats. I'm a student of class 9A in the modern school, Delhi. I'm a member of the Act Now Club. Today, I will be presenting my idea, which is recycling entrepreneurship classes. My idea is school orientated, so we will be having classes on this topic in our schools. Through this, we can not only save the earth, but we will also learn how we can sell goods online and how we can start our own online business. Basically, what I have seen over a long period of time is that we have been taught how to recycle stuff. People recycle stuff, but there is no specific shop or an online platform to sell recycled goods. So through this, we can encourage students to start small-scale businesses centered around recycling plastic. They can create bags or decorative items using recycled plastic and sell them within the school, community, or an online platform. I myself am researching and starting my own online business, including recycled goods. This idea will help here, along with making us future ready. It is time that we act now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Athar. Definitely, it's a very good idea that students of our age, your age specifically, can get into business, a small scale business. And could you just throw some light upon what kind of businesses these can be, so that your fellow mates can be a little more active about it, and can actually think about it. So could you please share your thoughts on that?
Yes, sure. For instance, we have been taught in school how we can recycle our t-shirts and make them into different bags, or we can recycle newspaper or used plastic goods. So basically, we will recycle stuff at our homes or anywhere local, and then we can start an online platform, website, anywhere, or just start a small garage sale outside our homes and start selling those products. Because many people don't have the time to recycle goods on their own. So in the way, we will be helping them along with helping the environment. We'll be teaching them about the benefits of recycled products. We can make them, for example, tote bags or recycled paper, etc. We can make a recycled notebook at home. And there is many things that we can recycle, a recycled flower pot, for instance. We can make this stuff, we can sell them, and we can spread its benefits all over the world.
Amazing. Actually, a very good idea. The best one, which I liked personally, was the one where you're saying that you can use t-shirts for tote bags. Actually, I have seen those videos as well, and those are very trending, very classy. So definitely a very good idea, Athar. Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us. We will definitely try to help the environment and act now, right? Thank you so much, Athar. All right. Next, we have Parminder. She is an active member, patiently waiting, and she's been with us throughout the event. Yes, Parminder. The stage is all
Should I
yours.
begin?
Yes, definitely. The stage is all yours, and it's an open forum. Please share whatever you have.
Thank you, ma'am. Tell me what and where from you eat. I'll tell you how much you care about the environment. Greetings, everyone. I'm Parminder Kaur, an active Act Now youth volunteer from the Modern School, Delhi, India, with an innovative idea to change the world. On a topsy-turvy planet rife with environmental degradation, there are still a throng of people going the extra mile, stepping outside their homes in every single condition to make a difference. But have you ever thought about the colossal difference we as individuals can make within our four walls? Every time we use a food delivery platform to order pizza, we take a step towards a marred environment. The pollution emitted by the delivery vehicle, the negative impact of plastic packaging, and of course, the raising of our own health. Okay, but how can we act now to prevent this? By eating locally. For instance, my family and I are single-handedly promoting several SDGs. We've replaced colas with local Indian juices, popcorn with fox nuts, and chips with poppadom. When we do feel like eating outside food, we eat locally made food packaged with biodegradables. We may be eating locally, but we think globally. In this way, we are providing employment and working towards no poverty, followed by zero hunger. By eating healthy, we promote good health and well-being of citizens all across the globe. When me and you, we eat food cooked by a middle-income local person, we reduce our inequalities and prejudices. We are responsibly using our resources the right way and leading to worldwide responsible production and consumption, all leading towards a better life on land, free from the restrictions of excess plastic usage, targeting 6 SDG goals with minuscule initiatives. Thank you for lending me your ears. I hope to have impacted your mind enough so that tomorrow when you wake up, you choose to do the right thing like me, to heal the earth and make it a better place for me and for you and the entire human race. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barminder. Indeed, it was really insightful. And to tell you the truth, I had just ordered from McDonald's, and I just realized that, oh my God. But definitely we will try the solutions that you have given, and it was really great to listen to you. And thank you so much for the thoughts that you have shared with all of
Ma'am,
us.
one more very minuscule initiative that I'm taking. I'd like to share with everyone here, our live viewers, and Rajiv sir, who's viewing us on the big screen, that recently me and my family have stopped using water that we freeze in the refrigerator. We use the water we store in earthen pots. It is sweeter, colder, and healthier. And we're also reducing the use of refrigerators and saving energy. So very minuscule initiative towards a bigger change.
Definitely. Coming to water, I have always thought of that how I use water is that you must be knowing that RO, it emits the wastewater that come out. So what I do is that the wastewater that comes out of the RO, I use it to water my plants. So it's a huge thing. I feel that somehow we are contributing to a safer and a greener environment. So these are small steps, but actually these small baby steps, they make a huge difference. And it is really amazing how we have come together on a platform wherein we can share these small ideas, so that other people, you take mine, I take yours, so that these ideas can be shared and can we make it, as you said, we actually make it a better place to live, right? Thank you so much, Barminder. And next we have Bhumi. She's from 10th grade. She's from Brookfield International School. Bhumi, I hope you're ready. I would request you to please unmute yourself. Perfect.
Yes, ma'am. Greetings, everyone. So, I am Bhumi Kaushal from Brookfield International School. So, today I want to share with you all the use of glitters. As be a student, we all use it for different purposes like decorating projects. We know that there is plastic pollution all around us, and it's very, very harmful for the environment. Even the glitters are also made up of plastic. While it is very pretty and kids go crazy for it, it's just a luxury and awareness in my society to avoid using it. And instead of glitters, you can use different soils, as soils is a renewable thing. Thank you. So act now.
Thank you so much, Bhumi. Thank you for your thoughts and your time. And thank you for joining us. Next, I would request Brahmjot. Perfect. Thank you so much, Brahmjot. The stage is all yours, and take use of all the time that you have.
Thank you. Did you all know that deleting all emails helps the environment and the planet? Well, now you know. Greetings to one and all present here. I, Rangat Kaur from Brooklyn International School, New Chandigarh, studying in 9A, also an active Act Now volunteer from youth, is going to represent on topic unveiling dormant pollution, that is, the hidden impact of email overload. In today's fast-paced digital era, email has become an integral part of our lives. It has transformed the way we communicate, work, and stay connected. But amidst the convenience and efficiency lies a lurking menace that often goes unnoticed. Email pollution. Yes, you heard it right. While it may not emit harmful gases or contaminate water resources, email pollution has its own invisible and insidious consequences. Imagine this: a cluttered inbox overflowing with unread messages and subscriptions, and endless chains of email threads. It's a familiar scenario for many of us, and it's not just an overwhelming but also detrimental to our productivity. Each email demands attention, forcing us to spend precious time sorting through irrelevant messages, engaging in lengthy conversations, and succumbing to the pings and notifications. But that's not all. The environmental impact of email pollution is another concerning aspect. Every email sent or received consumes energy. Servers, data centers, and network infrastructure require electricity to transmit, store, and process these digital masses. And the carbon footprint for this energy consumption adds up, contributing to the all over environmental degradation that is up to 4% every year. And it is going on and adding up as it goes on. Moreover, the manufacturing and disposal of electronic waste devices used for email communication also contribute the electrical waste and resource depletion. So how can we tackle this hidden menace and of email pollution and reclaim our productivity while also reducing our email environmental impact? Well, here are some few simple strategies. Starting off with practicing mindful email management. Organize your inbox, first of all. Unsubscribe from unnecessary newsletters and implement filters and labels to streamline your flow. Prioritize important messages and avoid being overwhelmed by the constant flow of information. Next, I would like to talk about promoting clear communication. Yes, encouraging concise emails with specific subject lines to convey the purpose effectively. Reduce unnecessary reply all chains and aim for indirect, no, direct and targeted interactions, much more better. By doing so, you not only save time but also improve the clarity of your message. Furthermore, talking about exploring alternative communication methods. What is that? Consider using instant messaging or video conferences for a quick exchange of group discussion. Collaborative project management tools can also facilitate seamless team, reducing reliance on email. Next, establish email etiquette and boundaries. Yes, we all need to set our boundaries like we do in our daily life. Avoid excessive use of CCs and DCs. Use attachments sparingly and rarely, and set expectations for response times of email. By respecting each other's time and focusing on essential communication, we can create a healthier email culture. Lastly, raise awareness about email pollution and its environmental impact.
Encouraging responsible email usage within your organization or social circles promote the use of eco-friendly email providers and energy-efficient data centers. Small steps can make a big and huge significant step. With multiply with the collective efforts and of individual and organization, it can make a significant huge difference. The way to reduce dormant pollution, that is also known as email pollution, is by deleting old, useless, and unnecessary emails, which I personally have done with my mother's email account inbox, and help the environment and the planet from excessive carbon emissions. In conclusion, email pollution may be hidden, but the consequences are real. By adopting mindful and email management practices, promoting clear communication, exploring alternative channels, setting boundaries, and raising your email awareness and sustainable digital future, we can combat this invisible menace. Let's strive for a more efficient, productive, and sustainable digital future. Remember, your inbox is not just a collection of messages. It's an opportunity to make a positive impact that will be done by taking action now and by reacting now. Let's all act now. Thank you.
I must say, very impressive. Honestly, to be very, very honest, I'll admit my mistake right away. I just checked my phone listening to you, when you were speaking, and I have some 6,000 messages, emails unread. So I would like to take up this opportunity that all the members who are listening to us right now, who are there in the meeting and who are listening to us live, definitely let's take this as an opportunity for tomorrow, which is also World Environment Day, that what you can do is that we all will clear our emails, and we'll definitely maybe what we can do is that we can post on our social medias as in hashtag act now, wherein we are giving more and more of information to the world as well, that this is our contribution. Tomorrow morning, definitely what I'm going to do is that I'm going to clear my email, so that it can be like a small contribution from my side. And I would request all the people who are listening out to us as of now, we did not even think of it, that this can actually, this is something that we ignore. We never take up our time that okay, this is also important. But again, as we were discussing in our last talk as well with Barminder, that small steps actually contribute huge impact. So thank you so much, Bramjot. Thank you so much for making us aware of these small things which are which are ignored. So my apologies to the environment, but definitely from now on we won't ignore it, and yes, we will act now, right? Thank you so much, Bramjot, for your time. And next we have Dhriti. Dhriti, are you ready? Perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Dhriti. So hope you're ready with I see some beautiful things. So please, the stage is all yours. I won't take much of your time.
Thank you. Nature is not a place to visit. It is a home. The earth is my home. I promise to keep it healthy and beautiful. I will love the land, the air, and the water, and all living creatures. I will be a defender of my planet, united with friends. I will save the earth. Awesome evening, everyone. This is Riti Jain from Brookfield International School, New Chandigarh. My mother used to tell me about her childhood experiences where many sparrows used to visit her house and neighborhood. But nowadays, we are not able to see any of the sparrows. The reason is rapid urbanization and pollution. Sparrows are a species of birds which love to inhabit between the human habitations. And for this, I've experimented a beautiful birdhouse for these sparrows, which indeed worked. Steadily with times, birds started breeding in it. If we compare this nest with the market nest, they use chemicals in preparing the nest which are harmful for the birds. They get irritated of the smell and the embryos do not get fully developed. For making this birdhouse, I have used cardboard, which is completely recyclable and does not harm the bird. The bird can stay for a number of years. With this, we have covered an important SDG goal, number 15, Life on Land, which aims on promoting habitats and biodiversity. अगर रात का खाना बच जाए तो सुबह तड़का लगा के नाश्ते में परोस दो. Why waste? If you have food left out after the dinner, why to waste it? Instead, just spice it up in the morning and serve it as breakfast. If you have clothes which are in good condition but you do not use them, you can give them to people in need. But if you have clothes which are not in a good condition to give to someone, you can reuse it. Likewise, I have made a beautiful wall piece. I've used an old synthetic cloth for making this wall piece. If even we give these clothes for recycling, they consume a lot of energy and release a harmful pollutants in the environment. Similarly, I have used an old torn dupatta for making this beautiful wall hangings. The cardboard which I have used for making this wall hanging is also completely recyclable. With this, I have targeted the SDG goal number 12.5, minimizing waste generation and maximizing recycling and reusing of products. If you look the right way, you can see that the whole world is a beautiful garden. To restore this wealth of nature, you must act now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dhriti. Must say, some beautiful pieces that you have shown to us, and really, really amazing. Especially, I really like the wall hangings that you have made, plus the frames that you have made with old clothes. It is really beautiful and amazing. And I really like how you are using the things around you to make it into, something decorative and pleasant to eyes. So amazing. Kudos to you on that. Now we have a small video. I request the technical team to play that video for us.
My name is Corey.
Hello everyone, my name is Lau.
My name is Bao. We are Across the Sky team, and now we would like to present to you No Plastic Challenge. How plastic is your home? Many types of plastics are part of our life. Plastic items are everywhere out around us, such as plastic bags, plastic chairs, baskets, and so on. Instead of using those plastic items, we can use things like a jar, canvas bags, and bamboo baskets. But we need to focus on the materials that we are using because plastic takes any shape. Sometimes we don't even know we're using it. How about you? What items will you use instead of plastic items? Changing is good. Stopping plastic pollution means making changes. You can bring your bag when you are going to the market. Bring a bottle of water when you go to Starbucks to buy some coffee and other drinks. That can also help you all the shop save money.
Plastic and animal. I want to refuse a plastic bag with a jellyfish in the ocean. Turtles eat jellyfish, but many turtles have eaten jellyfish made of plastic. Not only turtles, but many animals such as seabirds, whales, seals, and fish have also been found with plastic in their soulmates. Who eat seafood may also eat in tiny pies of plastic The tiny parts of plastic are called microplastic. Fun fact: a plastic bag is made of thousands of textures called microplastic. Glass jar, you probably know the three R's: reuse, recycle, reduce. I have an idea how about refuse. You can refill to use single-use plastic such as forks, cups, containers, and straws, but keep in mind that people with certain disabilities rely on straw for drinking. Many single-use plastic items, such as straw, use loud. They end up in city sewage drains and stopping the flow of water.
Plastic action. Everyone is taking action to save the earth. There are some easy actions that you can do right, like shop a place that uses less plastic packaging. Buy natural fabrics such as cotton and wool. Grow your own food. Line your garbage bin with paper bags instead of plastic or use nothing at all. Cover leftovers with a plate instead of a plastic wrap. Choose wooden or cloth toy. Shop at bulk store and bring your own containers. And these are some easy action that you can start a no plastic challenge. Don't buy boiled water. Say no thanks to single-use plastics such as straws, cups, containers, cutlery, and bags. Encourage your school favorite restaurant or store to ban single-use plastics. Don't buy products with plastic packaging. Bring your own bags, cutlery, and containers to a grocery store and take-out restaurant. What other ways can you stop or reduce plastic use? This is our summary. And here's our summary. Here are 9 easy things that you can do right now in your home. The first thing is to try traveling by walking, cycling, take buses or subways. The second thing is give up plastic. Take reusable bags when you go to the grocery store. Say no to single-use plastic items such as straws, forks. And the third one is try starting a meatless Monday in your home. Meatless Monday means you didn't eat any meat in that day.
4. Start recycling program at home or school. 5. Write letter to Congress to get law passes that will protect the environment. 6. Save the water. Turn off the water while you brush your teeth.
8. Start an earth-friendly group to plant trees or clean up a park or local waterway. 9. Make signs and join protests to speak out about pollution. 10. Use less paper, including notebooks, paper towels.
Together, let's protect and save the earth with us. That's all about No Plastics Challenge. I'm voting for a sustainable future for everyone. Learn more about sustainable lifestyle at this link. Thank you for your listening.
All right. Pretty informative. Thank you so much. Next, we have Gitanshu. Gitanshu, are you there? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Gitanshu, let's hear it from you. The stage is all yours.
Good evening, everyone. I am Gitanshu from class 9A from Modern School Kundu. I'm here to present my views on how to prevent microplastics. So first, we can minimize single-use plastic. Single-use plastics like plastic bags, straws, utensils, and bottles contribute significantly to plastic pollution. Reduce your consumption of these items by opting for reusable alternatives such as cloth bags, metal or glass bottles, and bamboo or metal utensils. These single-use plastics are, when reused, can inculcate more and more microplastics into your consumables, which make them poisonous over time. So it is extremely hazardous for our health. We should properly dispose of plastics. Ensure that you dispose of plastic waste properly. Use recycling bins for plastics, following the recycling guideline in your area. This helps prevent plastic waste from ending up in landfills or oceans where they can break down into microplastics. It prevents us from saving the sea life and saving our oceans. We should avoid synthetic fibers. Synthetic textiles such as polyester, nylon, acrylic shed, microfibers when washed. Opt for natural fibers like cotton, linen, or wool, which when washing shed much fewer microfibers and degrade more easily. We should use natural cosmetics and personal care products. Many cosmetic and personal care products contain microbeads, which are tiny particles used for exfoliation. Check the ingredient list and avoid products containing polyethylene and polypropylene. Use natural alternatives instead, like sugar, salt, or coffee grounds for exfoliation. That's all for that's all from my side today. I hope we all contribute to saving our environment. We should act now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gitanshu. Thank you for your words, and definitely we all are trying to do so. And it was great to hear from you. Next, we have Harshmeet from Brookfield. Harshmeet, are you ready? Yeah, Harshmeet, please unmute yourself.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So yes, Harshmeet, let's listen to you and let's listen to your thoughts.
Greetings everyone, this is Harshmeet from Brookfield International School. Today I'm going to be talking about sustainable aviation. The issue of waste and recycling within the aviation sector is now being reviewed as part of the Sustainable Aviation Agenda. This will allow the development and communication of further initiatives to reduce the environmental impact of aircraft cabin services. With a push on improving the sustainability of the aviation industry, one area which is not so frequently discussed is the issue of cabin waste. Airlines have been making strides to tackle some of the waste from passenger flights through initiatives such as cutting down single-use plastics, removing in-flight magazines, and providing amenities only on request. Studies have identified that over half of all the aircraft cabin cleaning waste could be recycled, with newspapers and magazines making up by far the majority of waste by weight. Recycling will also help to reduce costs of waste disposal. I think aircraft cleaning companies should keep bags of recyclables separate from other waste and put into the correct container at the airport waste disposal site. The recyclable materials should be stored separately from other waste during the flight and for the landing. Audits have shown that within cabin cleaning waste, there is a high proportion of recyclable materials, and in particular newspapers and magazines. For maximum impact, efforts should focus on collection of these materials. Airlines should also include the requirements for recycling within contracts with cleaning companies. I think the best thing that we can do for the planet is to reduce our flying altogether. So consider carefully whether there are more environmentally sensitive ways to get to your destination. So act now and reduce the amount of flying and use more environmentally sensitive ways to get to your destination. Thank you.
Thank you, Harshmeet. Definitely, it was thoughtful, and it is giving us a new direction of going into the aircraft, and there also we are finding what all can be done. So really insightful and informative. Thank you so much. And yes, now it's time for Jaskaran. Jaskaran, I would request you to please unmute yourself and turn on your camera.
Yes, ma'am. May I start?
Yes, definitely. The stage is all yours.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. A very awesome morning to one and all present here. I'm just currently studying in grade 10th of Brookfield International School. Today, I would like to draw your attention to a growing concern of microplastics that threatens our environment and health by just being smaller than 5 millimeters. These tiny particles are often invisible to naked eyes, but have trapped the whole surroundings. Humans are exposed to microplastics via food we consume, the water we drink, and the air we breathe. This threat is the direct result of rampant use of plastic and irresponsible waste management. So as concerned citizens, we must understand our duty and take major actions to mitigate their impact. First and foremost, we need to address the issue of plastic pollution at its sources. So to go straight with that, we should ban the use of single-use plastics and adopt certain environment-friendly habits like bringing our own reusable bags for shopping, opting for stainless steel bottles instead of disposable ones, and saying a big no to plastic straws and cutlery. These small changes have the potential to leave a great and sustainable impact on our lives. But I don't think so that seems enough. We must address the issue of existing microplastic pollution. Microbeads are commonly found in personal care products like facial scrubs and toothpaste that are a significant source of microplastic pollution. So to overcome this threat, we must use natural products in place of these. And for further prevention, we must invest in new technologies that can remove microplastics from our body. So in conclusion, microplastics have become global crisis that demands our attention and action. We cannot afford to be passive spectators in the face of this threat. So with respect to that, let us remember the words of Mahatma Gandhi. The future depends on what we do in present, which means by collectively working towards a plastic-free future, we can ensure a healthier and more sustainable planet for our upcoming generation. So I have started acting now, but have you? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jaskaran. Very nice, informative. And definitely, we have also started acting now. And we are moving towards a better tomorrow. So next, I have a student from the modern school, Kimaira. Kimaira, are you there?
Good evening, all. Today, I, Kimaira Arora from the Modern School, ECNCR, Delhi, is going to tell you a little about the history of plastic. So basically, plastic was invented and made to help the humankind. It was made as the friend of ours. But look at us. What have we done? We have made it a foe. Plastic is indirectly or directly through direct consumption or through seafood consumption is harming us, the human body. We have made it a threat to the environment. It is being used in the place where it should not be. For existence, hotels and restaurants can replace plastic bottles to steel or glass bottles. That is really easy to do. I know plastic is easy to carry, easy to use, but it is not easy for the environment. Plastic is making our environment bad. It is affecting us, it is affecting the environment. So we should act now to make plastic our friend again, not our enemy. The fault is ours, not of the past users, not of the future users, ours, because we are not able to conquer the usage of plastic. The ways to reuse, recycle will be the same. We cannot change the ways, but we have to do them. We have to apply them. Thank you and act now.
Thank you so much, Kimaira. Really very informative. And I believe your dog is also agreeing to whatever you are saying, must say. So yes, definitely. Your thoughts are really, really insightful. And I'm sure that you have had a very informative session since morning. I saw that you were asking a lot of questions to our guests as well, and which is really nice because, you know, the spirit of the youth is very important for, because yes, the older generation is going to hand over the world to us, and it's on now on our shoulders. And you know, if we are aware, if we are you know, if our eyes are wide open, it's easier, much easier for us to take care of our environment and the world around us. And definitely, I believe this is one of my favorite songs, Heal the World, Make It a Better Place to Live. So yeah, thank you so much, Kimaira. And really, it was really good to listening to you, and background sounds from your dog as well. All right, thank you. We have Komya. Komya, am I audible to you? Okay.
Sorry, ma'am, I couldn't unmute before. So, very good evening to one and all present here. I'm Koumya Goyal from 9B, studying in the modern school. Today, I'm going to be speaking about plastic on planet Earth. So, now, first of all, it is an honor to be speaking with all of you here today on this Act Now platform. Now, we already are well aware that plastic is a huge, enormous threat to our planet Earth. And one of the main disadvantages about plastic is that it is non-biodegradable. Now, due to its non-biodegradable nature, it lives on our Earth's surface for about 1,000 to 2,000 years, which is not really good for us, as it leads to biomagnification. Now, biomagnification is a process where the waste or the plastic materials that we dispose of get accumulated in our environmental food chain, which makes humans more prone to respiratory diseases, heart problems, liver failures, kidney failures, and all, even loss of life and property. So one of the main solutions to this is recycled plastic. Now, this is a very well-known solution, but unfortunately, 91% of the plastic on planet Earth that can be recycled does not get recycled, and it's just disposed of. So subsequently, next time when we go out to the market to buy groceries or buy supplies for our house, I suggest we should carry an environmental friendly bag. And if it is not at one's disposal, we could use the poly bags that we bought last time when we went to the market. So even these small steps will help make the planet to make planet a better place to live. So that's all. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you so much, Koumya. It was really nice to listen to your thoughts. And such great speeches and such initiatives, small initiatives from young minds, definitely it is making a huge difference to the environment. Thank you so much. And next we have Lavit from the Modern School. Lavit, may I please ask you to unmute yourself? No, you are not unmuted. Yeah, now you are.
No.
Yes, you are audible. Perfect.
Good evening, everyone. I am Lavit Gupta.
an Act Now youth member from the Modern School PCNCR. My idea is how we as kids can contribute to reducing plastic pollution. First of all, why is plastic so dangerous for us? Plastic is so dangerous for us because it takes 20 to 500 years to decompose. And also, it is so cheap that it is in almost everything we use. So, how can we contribute to reducing it? First of all, stop drinking from plastic bottles. What we don't know is that once we drink from a plastic bottle and we refill it, it contaminates the water with BPA and a lot of microplastics, which are indeed very dangerous for our health. And if we throw them away, it will pollute the environment. So we are just left with no chance here. Instead, use a steel bottle. It is way more effective. Also, use a jute or paper bag. We all use we all use plastic polythenes when we go to the market, and we can see them lying all around the floor. But if we use a jute or paper bag, we can avoid that problem. Even if we don't have a jute or paper bag, we can still use our old plastic polythenes and refuse the shop vendor for new ones. Even if we had to dispose a newly bought plastic bag, we have to dispose it in the dustbin. Otherwise, it will pollute the environment. Also, don't eat so much of packed foods. We dispose them not in a proper way, and they pollute our environment. If we all take these steps, it will create a really big impact. I am doing my part. Now it's time to do yours. Let us all take a step towards a sustainable future. Act now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lavit. Honestly, yes, the content that you're speaking definitely moved me, but the kind of expressions that you were giving actually made me think that it is something that we need to act really, really now. So thank you so much. Yeah, jokes apart, thank you so much. It was really nice listening to you. And your thoughts are really, really impactful and powerful. And we will definitely ponder upon the thoughts that you have shared with us. Thank you so much. Next, we have Mahi. Yeah. Hello, Mahi. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, you are completely, clearly audible. Please, the stage is all yours.
Yeah. A very good evening to one and all present here. I, Mahi Sood of the Modern School Delhi, is here to present on the topic sustainable fashion. So most of us here, or maybe all of us here, may be having jeans and also be wearing them regularly. But does anyone know that how much water is being wasted in the production of one pair of jeans? More than 200 gallons of water is being used to make one pair of jeans, and more than 50 gallons of water is being contaminated with harsh chemicals which are highly harming our environment. So let us all think of our future and together take a small step to switch to sustainable fashion. In sustainable fashion, all clothes are chemical free, recyclable, and do not harm the environment even 1%. So let us all act now, react now, and it will soon have an impact now. I, as a child, have also told my parents, my relatives, my grandparents, and to all those whom I can tell to switch to sustainable fashion, and I will do whatever I can to save the world. And let us all use the social media in a positive way and spread awareness about our environment, our Mother Earth, which we call our homes. Only those should call the Mother Earth our Mother Earth, who can respect it and do not harm the environment. I alone can't do anything much, but I still can do something. But let us all get together and work as a team. Act now. Thank you for hearing me and have an awesome day ahead with bright shining sun and a green world with no plastic and sustainable environment.
Very nice, Mahi. I really like the way you have ended the speech, and it was really very nice to you. You're cute. You are really sweet and cute, And your speech was really very nice. Yes, it is impactful, and we will definitely try to follow all the steps that you were talking about, right? Next, we have Mitanshu with us, who has been waiting for his chance. Mitanshu, please unmute yourself. Yes, thank you so much. All right, Mitanshu, it's your turn now, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you, ma'am, for this big opportunity. So, a very awesome evening for one and all present here. I'm Mitanshu Kumar, studying in 6th B. The Modern School ECNCR is here to speak about microplastics. So, what are microplastics? Microplastics are of concern because of their widespread presence in the oceans and the potential physical and the toxicological risks they pose to the organisms. Microplastics can even be found in tap water. Moreover, the surfaces of tiny fragments of plastics may cause or carry diseases causing organisms and act as a vector for diseases in the environment. Microplastics can also interact with the soil fauna, affecting their health and soil functions. Do you know how much plastics are we ingesting? I have estimated that average person might eat 5 grams of the microplastics in a week. It is about the weight of a credit card. Microplastics can absorb unwanted and undesirable chemicals, including heavy metals, PCBs, and pesticides. Human consumption of microplastics can result in an increased exposure to these chemicals and might lead to poisonous effects. Over 14 million tons of microplastics have been found in the oceans and 171 trillion tons of microplastics on the land. Do you know oceans across the world are polluted by growing plastics smoke composed primarily of microplastics, according to my new study of 2023. Thank you, that's all that I got, and we must act now to make this place a better place to live in. We do not have planet B. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Mitanshu. Definitely, yes, I agree. Till now, life is only found on the blue dot, which is the planet Earth. So yes, it's high time that we, take our steps, and definitely we should, a place where we live, where it's so beautiful around. Definitely, we should try to make it the same way, right?